Hey, that's it. We're done. All right. Have a great day. It was 38 seconds of fun.
Woohoo.
You know, it popped up live at 38 seconds. I just want to point that out.
That's really weird.
Yeah, because
You didn't even hit the
I
button.
didn't even hit the button yet.
So that means that it was giving us live.
We're officially live, 51 seconds in on YouTube and Twitch.
Hello, everybody.
All right, so this will be exciting. So we're just going to introduce ourselves, and then that's the show, right? So I'm Thomas J. Beleza. This is JD McGivney, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, that was a good hour.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, to answer last week's question. So what's today's show about?
That's a good question. What is today's show about, Thomas?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Why do I always have to have the answers?
Because you're the smart guy.
It doesn't mean it. You're
I'm here.
You're the one. You're the one who is whatchamacallit?
What?
Who's right?
I'm never right.
I know. Then how do you have a stance? All right, what's that say?
It says conversations need 2 or more people to be emotionally interested.
Uh,
Where does the conversation go?
It means what I'm saying here is conversations need 2 or more people to be emotionally interested. Meaning, if they're not if 2 or more people are not emotionally interested, it is not a conversation.
It is just one person talking at another person.
Yeah, which is just the hardest way to have a conversation.
Because it's not a conversation.
Right?
Yes.
I agree. I agree.
Great conversation.
Anyway, what do you want the show to be about? Start a conversation. We can make it about you. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about your music? I know that'll get you going for hours.
I don't want to talk about me.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Well, then what do you want to talk about?
I'll follow your lead on this conversation.
All right. So have you heard about this band Angels on the Battlefield?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
You just said you literally just said I will follow your lead.
I did.
Which is a lie. It is on live. It is recorded. You literally were pulling my penis balls.
Do you have balls other places that are not on your penis?
Correct.
I learned something today.
All right. So since you don't want to follow my lead, what is it you want to talk about?
Anything that does not involve me being the center of the topic of the conversation.
Okay. Have you ever played with a band?
Yes, I have played with a band.
See, that's it. He's done with that conversation. Now what do you want to talk about? I wasn't going to make you the center of the comment. I was going to make the band you played with the center of the topic. But yeah, see, conversation needs 2 people to be emotionally interested. All right. So what do you just want me to talk?
I was going to follow your lead on something that does not involve me.
It can't involve you in any way. All right, so that takes out anything about BBR, any of the projects we're working on, anything that has to do with my life, because you basically are involved in it all the time. Anything about the place we live and the show. We can't talk about the show.
What show?
So, frogs.
And this is why you need 2 people who are emotionally invested into the conversation in order for it to happen. Because as you can see, if one person is not invested in the conversation, it does not go very far.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. 4 minutes. What can we do for another 4 minutes?
I don't know. We could play chess.
No, we couldn't. I would be playing chess. You would be there to help me hone my skills.
And I would lose in 2 moves again.
Do you feel you play chess, or that you have played the game of chess?
I have played the game of chess.
Yeah, I would agree.
I am nowhere at all a master.
What the hell do you have what are you looking up on iPad? What is this?
Nothing. I just have it up.
What do you have up though? I see you have something up.
This was.
Is this clarification? Oh no, we got something else up there. What is it?
I was looking up embolism.
Oh my God, why?
I don't remember.
You want to tell us about that? It doesn't seem to be focused on you. It seems to be focused on embolism. Maybe you'll talk about that. And what's embolism?
An embolism is the lodging of an embolus, a blockage causing
that's right
piece of material inside a blood vessel.
Yeah, because we were talking about aneurysms.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. I knew from the beginning what that was about. Just like to put it out there. Okay, so that was good. That was another minute and 18 seconds. What do you want to do for the next minute?
I don't know.
This is pretty good so far.
Yeah,
I'd ask you what you're drinking, but I don't want to put you on the spot. I was gonna have a conversation about coffee, but since JD is directly related to coffee as a brand, I figured that would make him uncomfortable. So I'm just saying that's what you said.
That is what I said.
You said so. I'm trying to figure out what we can talk about that doesn't involve you. Even the dog can't figure it out. I don't think they could hear the dog because I didn't hear the dog in the headphones.
Hopefully not. If anything,
Doesn't matter. Is someone gonna be like, we can't watch that show?
They got a dog.
Jesus. Anyway,
how you doing, Thomas?
I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you?
Doing all right.
I did not mean to ask you a question on your state of being.
That's all right. I forgive you.
I did not mean to put you on the spot.
I forgive you.
All right, good. This is gonna be difficult. He gave me such a weird. What did you give me? You gave me a box. You were just like, here, talk about this box, but not the box I gave you.
Interesting. I suppose I did. I removed the box.
I'm just saying, you were like, I'll follow you.
I removed the box. Have fun with the conversation. Where are we going?
So, have you heard about this band Angels on the Battlefield?
Once or twice. They're heavy metal band. If I'm not.
I don't know. I wouldn't consider them heavy. I would go like hard rock.
I guess that makes sense.
Like, but our age rock, not like
what do you mean
Black Sabbath rock.
Gotcha.
Like it's like
modern day hard rock.
Modern day hard rock.
Not
like Tom Petty rock. You know?
God.
I don't think it's metal. It's not metal enough to be heavy metal, but it's definitely it has rock in it.
But it's too hard to be just Tom Petty.
Yeah.
I'll go with that. That makes
sense. Heavy rock.
Just stuff.
Which is an Indian location. I don't know if you ever seen that American Indian. Have you been to that park?
I do not know what park.
Boring Rock.
No,
you've never been to Boring.
I've never been to Boring Rock.
Oh, it's amazing. Actually, it's irony when you go there, except for the fact that there's no irons there. But the rock itself is made of iron.
There's so much going on in that statement.
I just he helped me in that conversation. Let's go to another one. All right, what do you want to talk about?
I kind of want to talk about this rock.
All right, good. Well, go ahead. You want me to talk about it, and you're Andy Richter me. That was pretty good. Pretty good. All right, Conan. Are you my Andy Richter? This is supposed to be our show, but where he's Andy Richter.
I definitely am Andy Richter.
It's which is the most unimportant part of the show.
We should definitely get suits. This way we can be like.
I have a suit. This is a suit.
Oh, well, then I should wear a suit.
You have a suit. That's your outfit.
Yeah, but it's not like a.
Oh, you mean like a dress suit?
Yeah, so I can do like the Andy Richter and the Conan.
Yeah, because when I dress up like Telmorn, that's the Telmorn suit.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
You definitely have a lot of.
Yeah, the Batman suit is a suit.
It is a suit,
right?
So
he's not like he puts it on, and Alfred's like, that's not technically a suit, because Alfred wouldn't be alive.
He hands Batman a tie.
Yeah, he's like, oh, now it has to have a tie to be a suit.
I mean, he's got the tails for like the.
Does a tie have to be on you to make it a suit?
No.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Just making sure.
It does not.
Do you think Alfred has a conversation and Bruce Wayne's like, I am literally the smartest man in this DC world? Trust me, I know that this is called a suit. It is not a dress suit. It is the bat suit.
What about a scuba suit? That doesn't have a tie either.
Yeah, well, it does in the back.
I thought they had zippers.
Yeah, but you tie the thing to the zipper so you can pull it up. It has that string.
That makes sense.
See, I thought.
You taught me something.
I thought. He's gonna research it.
No, I trust you.
Today, not that time when I was like, just take your pants off.
I mean, I did eventually.
What are you talking about? Yeah, let's see what JD's
That's the weirdest
doing.
blowfish experience ever.
This is what JD looks like when I look at him. Yeah. This is Thomas. This is my point of view.
Hey, everybody.
No, it's supposed to be me.
Oh, hey, Thomas.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. How you doing?
So, just wondering, what do you want to talk about, JD?
You know what? I'm kind of just following your lead here.
Wait, let me fix my eyes.
You're scratching your nose right now.
So, anyway, go ahead. Tell me about your life, JD. And oh, what were you saying? Let me just. This is actually how I look at JD when we're doing the show. I look over here.
So he doesn't have to look at me directly.
I don't like looking at people when I talk to them. Because then they think I'm talking about them.
Oh God, he's looking at me.
Oh
What
my
am
God, I
doing
didn't mean to talk about you.
wrong? Oh God,
All right, 11 minutes almost. This is pretty good.
this is very good.
Some good direction here.
I agree.
I thought you were going to follow my lead.
This conversation's rough.
Oh, God, it's going to be this day. By the way, humor does not add to a conversation. However, humor in the conversation can add value, but as long as it doesn't undermine the subject matter or the person.
So are you saying that as long as the
Look,
humor
he's asking
is
me
not-
questions. He's not adding value. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Can you explain that to me?
Why? Why don't you explain to me what you think it means?
I don't
So
know.
we could have a
I'm thinking
At
that
all.
what you're
You-
saying
What do you think?
is that
Wait,
if
pause,
you-
pause for a second.
pausing.
I said, why don't you tell me what you think it means? And you said, I don't know, which means at a base, you have zero understanding of the words that come out of my mouth.
Nope. I barely speak English.
I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the way you said it, because I asked you, well, why don't you tell me what it means to you? And you said, I don't know, which means you don't know what it means to you. Meaning,
I don't know. I'm really bad with words.
I'm just, you know what I'm saying though? Like,
see what
because I
you're
asked you a question that you couldn't get wrong.
Which was what it meant to me. What I
Yeah.
thought it meant.
You could have literally been like, does it have to do with frogs?
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you asking me or telling me? And you're like, well, actually,
Yes.
I'm saying to me, I feel like it has to do with frogs. And then I get to go, oh, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
I
tell
got
me what your thoughts are on coffee. I don't know. You tell me. What? Anyway, go ahead.
We're talking about humor in a conversation, and I believe
Yeah, go
what you
ahead.
are saying is as long as you're not being derogatory to the person you're having a conversation with or the overall surroundings.
You could be derogatory to the person you're talking about, but not at the expense of the person you're talking about.
What is the difference?
Well, derogatory could be making like a playful joke about, you know, like your height, like when your friends make fun of your height. They're not saying it at the expense of you. They're not trying to hurt you. They're not saying it to be vindictive or evil or they're not saying it
So you're saying
at the expense of you.
they're not saying with the intention of causing harm.
Yeah, it is a derogatory comment, but it is
Gotcha.
not at the expense of you.
It is with the intention to lighten the mood and make
Yeah,
laughter.
yeah, yeah. So
see what
some
you're saying.
friends, they make fun of each other all the time, right? So or you know, whatever the case may be. So there's no, hopefully, there's no intent to be like, I'm gonna, you know, you had AIDS. I'm gonna can't touch it. Like now,
No.
that's at the expense of somebody because they might actually, you know.
Have the intention of being like, oh, I'd make this person cry themselves.
Well,
to
if
sleep.
you told me I had AIDS and then in a conversation surrounded by people, I go, well, unfortunate for you, you got AIDS, so you ain't getting lucky tonight. And then now everyone's like,
Oh my God.
he's got AIDS, you know. So that's at the expense of you, not necessarily derogatory.
I gotcha.
I don't even
There's
think it's
definitely-
derogatory. I think it's just
That
it would just be a
mean.
fact. It's not mean. It is not mean. It is not a mean thing. Because mean would mean that the intent was to be mean. But being what is it called? There's an actual term for it. Something truthful. When you are absolutely truthful.
Not blunt,
No, there's a something honest. It's
brutally honest.
I don't know. I can't think of it. What is the term? What is the term for a person that is always honest? It's like
Lucifer,
yeah.
Tom Ellis.
I can't find it, but it's like it's basically like saying someone is brutally honest, but like being honest is not mean. Mean has to do with intent. You have to have intent to be mean. Let's see if Ghost Tan. Banter is a fine line between being playful and just being mean-spirited
Voracious?
towards
Is that the
someone.
word you're
I
saying?
agree, Ghost Tan. What?
No,
No,
it's
it's
not
it's a term. It's a term. Like it's
Oh.
like something honest. It's like
Gotcha. And it's not brutally honest.
it's not brutally honest. Ghost Tan, I agree with that. Banter is a fine line between being playful and just being mean-spirited towards someone. You know. But that's the
But that comes down to the intent.
yeah, the mean spirited is at the expense of somebody. So the intent would be to hurt someone, you know. But hey, thanks for the input.
Yeah. Thank you. Dankeschön.
Yeah, Dankeschön, Dankeschön. So there you go. So just you can make jokes that are derogatory. Like I could talk about sex in a conversation as long as it's not at the expense of somebody. And if somebody is offended by what I am talking about, that is not my responsibility. Like
Yeah,
I am not being offensive.
You're just having a
They
conversation.
were, yeah.
They do not feel comfortable in the conversation.
Especially if you and I, straightforward is the term. No, it's like it's a word and then honesty. So it's a term like something honesty. I think it's absolute honesty, or it's like why can't I think of it? I'm like, you know what it is? It's a billion degrees. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but it's a billion degrees out tonight, and it's just so hot down here. We don't have the AC on. The AC's upstairs.
Yeah. Gee, like one of them portable ones.
Yeah, right. You know what? What was the term used?
All right. I can't spell.
Oh.
Yeah, so like when you and I have a lot of conversations, like we're joking around with each other, like we're not saying things with the intent of, you know, being mean or being derogatory to one another. We're just like poking fun at like certain things, and we're doing it with the air of wanting to make each other laugh and feel good.
Yeah, sometimes.
I think anytime I've ever seen you, I don't think you've ever gone out of your way to like want to make someone feel bad. Anytime you've ever wanted to end a conversation or, you know, get back at someone who is being mean at you, you just point out truths about someone that they don't necessarily want to admit to themselves.
What do you mean?
So you're just being truthful and honest. You're not being mean. You're just going, oh, yeah, well, this thing. And then they're like, no.
What? What do you mean?
I'm saying that you do not go out of your way to be mean to people. If someone is being mean to you, you just point out things that they are not comfortable with about themselves. You're just honest.
I'm gonna let you explain that because I'm sorry, I was researching. Radical honesty is what it's called.
Radical honesty.
Yeah, radical honesty.
Is there like a full definition for it?
Well, we all know that definitions aren't necessarily the terminology for something, but radical honesty. How to practice radical honesty is a pledge to see and verbally acknowledge things exactly as they are to the best of your ability. To practice radical honesty, adopt a mindset where you're able to see and acknowledge reality. Learn to communicate what you see effectively. Make sure to approach the situation with kindness. But kindness, again, if I say, oh, you are very tall, like, and they get offended because everyone's like, oh, it must be tall. But I'm just acknowledging that I see that you are tall. It's not that I am lacking kindness, because I am being kind. I'm just also being honest to how I see it.
Like literally, someone is very tall.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like when people used to say, like, "Oh, that girl is fat," and you're like, "Well, she is fat." Like, it doesn't mean it's not mean. It's just she's fat, right? But also, when people used to say I was ugly, I'd be like, "Okay," and they'd be like, "You're not offended?" And I was like, "Why would I offend you? You believe I am ugly. I believe I could have sex with your mother
again
on Sundays." Yeah. I don't take offense to people. I take offense at behavior.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. I don't care what people say. I care why they do it,
Which is the behavior.
So
would you consider the intent behind what somebody says as the behavior?
Wait, what?
Would you consider the intent behind what somebody says the behavior? So let's say someone says, like, you're ugly. You're not going to get offended at the words. Would you be offended by the behavior in which they are exhibiting?
No, because the behavior they're exhibiting is that they're trying to be mean to me, which means they haven't lied to me yet. So when the behaviors contradict each other, that's the problem I have. I have issue with cognitive dissonance. But if someone is being mean to me, I know that they are mean to me. But if someone is like, "Oh, I'm your best friend," and then they're
they're mean, then you're like,
they
that's
get,
when you have
they
the
get
issue.
married. And all right, so Ghost Hand says, I think it's a matter of shutting. Oh, wait, we can actually place this on the screen. Let's do this for everyone. I think it's a matter of shutting down a conversation with someone being a jerk by just reminding them that they are exposing their negative traits. Like, hey, buddy, really judgmental of you. Or rich. Yeah, I mean, but that again is not a statement of observation or a statement of again, when you say, hey, buddy, really judgmental of you, it's literally you're no longer it's at the expense of them because you're pulling out a trait, whereas if somebody is fat, it's not at the expense of them because they are fat.
It's like same thing like when you said it's saying someone is tall or someone is
Yeah.
short.
But if
Someone
you're-
has hair, someone does
Yeah.
not have hair.
But if you're like, man, you should definitely I don't know, maybe eat an apple.
That is mean.
That's well, the intent might be kindness, like I just want you to lose weight, but in reality, it's at the expense of something they are.
I see what you're saying.
You know, it's like my brother's a rabbi, so if I made fun of him for being a rabbi, I could probably get away with it, right? But if I made well, of course he's gonna pick up the penny. He's a Jew, like.
But
Now it's at the expense of him and not necessarily observational.
I gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? If I was like, oh, he's a Jew, and it's like, oh, he's a Jew who picked up a penny, that is observational. But if I am critiquing his behavior,
But if you were to say he picked up the penny because he's a Jew,
that's an assumption of intent.
that would be.
Yeah, he didn't pick up the penny because he's a Jew. He picked up the penny for whatever reason was inside him.
And he happens to be a rabbi.
Yeah, I could probably determine what the action is, but it probably has some to do with cultural perception of some traits, like being short or being bald. It's hundreds of years of conditioning. Yeah, that I agree with too. Yeah, like for example, we live in a culture where like girls don't want to be hit on by a guy, right?
Mhm.
But they want to be hit on by the guy they find attractive.
Yes.
But we don't know we're not that guy
until we know
that
we're not that guy.
In fact, I was watching a TikTok the other day and this girl was like, I don't understand why guys don't just approach me. I like when men approach me and say, hey, how are you doing? And then they start a conversation. But at the same time, that is also true and false. They want the guy they want to come over. They don't want every guy to come over. And we don't know that as a recipient of that. But it comes down to what do you supply visually? And if you think that just the culture itself dictates what's attractive, I mean, because for us, we cover our boobs, but in ancient tribes, they don't.
Or in modern tribes there and say like,
modern tribes,
remote areas, they don't. There's no modesty in that.
My favorite is like people were like, oh, you pierced your nose, and then you're like, yeah, but there's literally tribes that have plates in their lips.
Yes.
And they're like, that's hot. And you're like, yeah, for that, that's.
There's even tribes that do like the neck elongation too.
Oh yeah, that's crazy. To me, I think that's crazy because it's body mutilation. Like not that I'm against piercing and everything, but there is a difference between like, getting your ears pierced and then getting like horns implanted under your skin.
Well, I know what I'm doing next Saturday.
I'm just, but again, if they do that, I'm never going to be like, hey, what's wrong with that? I'm just be like, that's just something I wouldn't do. And I would applaud, hey, great. You were able to do something crazy, without drugs,
Well,
maybe, I don't know. No, I don't care about people's, that's the other thing. Like, I don't care about people's behaviors upon themselves. I care about people's behaviors towards me because I have boundaries. But I don't want them to stop the behavior. I just need to acknowledge the behavior because you're supposed to be able to talk about your feelings.
Agreed.
If you can't express, look, if you don't want to be a part of the conversation, you don't have to say it. Hey, you have anything to add? Yes. What is it? I agree with you. Well, what are your thoughts on it? I don't know. Well, then why do you agree? Well, I agree what you are saying. Well, what am I saying? I have no idea. Why don't you tell me? Can you clarify? I'm trying to learn. Do you hear how that sounds?
Yeah, I should just get a talk box. Just record everything and just be like, beep.
Yeah, but what would it say? Yes, okay, thanks.
I mean, that's a good chunk of what I would be saying.
By the way, Gosan, this is how our shows usually go. I talk until my throat and voice go, and then JD goes, "That's the show."
I mean, that's pretty accurate as well.
Do you have input on this subject?
About being able to express your feelings, yeah, of course. I
Yeah,
don't
all
think
right,
it's
we can
healthy
talk
for
about that.
anyone to feel that they can't express themselves. Like,
I agree.
I know you do. We've had this conversation multiple times. You know, it's
Yeah.
if you can't express yourself,
Like
with,
Madonna. Express yourself.
Oh, that's a song.
Oh my God. Go ahead, JD. Keep going. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, if you're not able to express yourself with the people that you surround yourself with, it's the sign of not being in a very healthy relationship because you don't feel
Anything anymore.
well. That's potentially an issue.
I feel nothing. Not even with my fingertips. I cut my toes off.
Do you have frostbite? Oh yeah.
Yeah, frostbite. Of course, I eat it
Oh,
every
the
day. It's
soul.
in my freezer.
You mean frosted flakes?
No, frostbite.
Frost.
I melt my ice until it's so hard it breaks my teeth.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's how I. That's my diet. I eat cold water.
You melt the ice until it's too cold.
Well, I'll freeze the ice and then I microwave it. So I can enjoy a healthy diet of that was tasty. The other thing I do is I pre-boil water so I don't have to wait. So I'll pre-boil it
I put it in the freezer.
and I put it in the freezer. And then later on when I want to use it, I just put the ice cube, the big chunk of ice into the bowl. And then I turn the heat on and look, it heats right up. Takes no time at all. It instantly starts heating up. It's not heated up, but it instantly starts heating up.
You know what? I think you have one of the best life hacks out there.
That guy's funny.
Oh, that guy is so good.
That guy's, you know, he speaks fluent Italian.
Yeah, it's like, it doesn't he know like 3 languages, like English,
Well,
Italian, and like something else? Because his
Yeah,
parents
because
moved-
he's black.
no, it's because
No,
his
he
parents
moved-
moved to Italy.
Yeah, from Africa. They moved to Africa and then right, and then Italy. But he
Yeah.
grew up in Italy since he was a child. Very funny guy.
He's a very funny guy.
Very funny. He says almost nothing.
Are there videos of him actually saying stuff?
He says almost nothing. I haven't heard him say anything. But
I think it would ruin the character.
he's
if he
really
said
good at
anything.
basketball though, or something like that. And like he's started doing basketball videos, but like a kid doing like the 3-point competition where you just keep taking the balls and shooting really fast. And then the guy missed every single shot, and he did the three rows of basketballs, every shot, same position, right? So then the guy got on, and he just goes, like, but it's like a swish or something. Anyway, all right. Anything else? All right, that's 20 minutes.
We did good.
You did good, man. That was good. It's good. This conversation's going.
Thanks.
Do you feel we've had one straight conversation, or I've talked a lot?
I feel like you've talked a lot, and I've jumped in periodically.
Which is not a conversation, by the way.
It is not.
Anyway, why are we talking about this?
We're talking about why 2 people need to be emotionally.
2 or more
2 or more people need to be emotionally invested
interested.
into the conversation.
Yeah, to make
Because-
it a conversation.
Because it's a very important skill to be aware of.
Yeah.
To be able to, interact and give input in any conversation. Because
Well, no, it's not about input.
what is it about?
Well, input is the process of informing, right? But a conversation needs to pull along, so it's a mixture of. And I know you're probably saying input, like as in my opinion is input.
Yes.
But that input itself has value. But
Because you're saying input is data.
Input is data.
Gotcha.
Right. But opinion is okay too. You can have an opinion with somebody. But the idea is like if we start talking about coffee, there's a couple ways we could have that conversation. One is I know what coffee's good and you disagree. Right? Or you know what coffee is good and I disagree. We have one where we both believe the coffee is equally good. So therefore the conversation leads to why it's good. Right? And that becomes an echo chamber. Right? And then there's others where I believe the coffee is terrible and you believe it is good. And then there's conversations where we're basically leading to one of those becomes true, meaning, oh, you know what? You're right. The coffee is good. Right? But then you have conversations that really are talking about the coffee as a discovery and not necessarily as an opinion.
So what is
Those
What-
are all conversations.
what is it when you say like the coffee being a discovery? What is that?
Like, for example, let's say somebody discovers the fact that Jupiter orbits around the sun, right?
Mhm.
And then they discover there's a gravitational center point that is not directly in the center of the sun; it's outside the sun, right? The moment someone takes a stance, it is no longer a discovered conversation, because what are you trying? The conversation is about what you discovered. It's like coming out of social studies
Mhm.
and going, "Did you know that the North fought the West in the Civil War?" And it's like the first time you learn it, you're not actually having a conversation of discovery.
It's just
It's
saying
it's
this is
your
a
stance, because you're saying that did happen, which it did, but you're saying it happened instead of us going, "Did you hear this thing about the Civil War?" And you go, I heard about it, but I don't know much about it. And then the other person goes, I don't know much about it either, but people have been talking about it and the influence it had on blank, blank, blank.
So you're saying the conversation of discovery is two people going back and forth and growing together in the conversation. Am I getting that correct?
It's not that they don't have to grow, but the idea is that no one is an expert in this subject, and but they're trying to understand it. They're having a philosophical debate on, not a debate, a philosophical conversation on it, to really like explore what it is they know and why they know it. Why are people talking about it? So it's all based on like, there's no definitive proof on either end. No one has a stance.
They're just exploring ideas.
They're exploring the ideas.
I see what you're saying.
And those become, we got some more ghost tin.
Ooh.
It's a strange thing. Some people are able to talk to themselves, not in the sense of multiple personalities, but self-reflection. But in terms to learn, we really need an external perception. Like, what is the individual meaning of some topic? I agree with that as well. Okay, yeah, you're a very smart person. I like how your brain works. I agree with that. Because sometimes we try to discover information on our own. So we like, for example, Jupiter, right? You saw that information, and then you did a deep dive into 3 articles. And once those 3 articles were explored, what's going on with the camera? Can you? We're getting a little blurry over there. You did a deep dive into 3 articles, and then you had a stance. But what he's saying is that, you were just talking to yourself with that. You were exploring and growing with that knowledge, and therefore there was no external input or perception to allow you to have an opposition, or at least question
somebody
it.
else.
And in turn, you instantly believe it was 100% accurate. Like, you're like, this is the truth, right? But if you find that information and you don't really, well, you didn't really research it, but 3 articles is not research.
It is not.
But if you took that information and you had approached me and you were like, hey, I just read something that said Jupiter doesn't really, and it wasn't a stance, meaning like if I had said something in return, it's like, yeah, but it does go around the sun. It is orbiting the sun. And your response isn't, no, that's not what I discovered, right? Now we're not having a conversation. We are having a debate, right? Because there's 2 opposing. But if it was like, well, it's interesting because they're not necessarily saying it doesn't go around the sun. They're saying that its orbit point is different, right? However, because it does go around the sun, it is also orbiting the sun. You know what I'm saying? Like now we're like kind of like having a conversation just about the uniqueness of it and like where they're trying to put the perspective. And there's no one's right or wrong. It's just like, oh, well, if it's like outside the sun,
the conversation is explorative in that case. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. We're discovering the conversation. The conversation, because if I come in and I go, listen, this is how you network, you can't have a conversation with me about that.
Because that is just here's the
no, because I'm an expert. There's nothing you can add to that conversation other than ask questions, which isn't a conversation. It's a lecture. Oh, we got another one.
Ooh, what we got?
As someone who worked with scientific research, you need a minimum of 40 to 60 articles. This is literally what I told him. To have a good perception of a specific theme or research that and you are in constant talks with your supervisor and other more experienced professionals. That's literally what I had to say.
That
Because
is literally what you said.
my position with that was not necessarily that we were discussing Jupiter, but I was like, how can you accept it as your stance of fact when you only had
The
three
three.
articles? Like you're talking on the level of you are an expert, and there's no way I can be wrong with this because this article and this article and this article say the exact same thing. But the secret is, and I'm sure Ghost Hand they'll agree with this. Between those 40 and 60 articles, there should also be opposing views and actions to discredit, because you need
to be able to prove what it is that you're saying is false, and if you cannot prove that it's false, then it must be true.
Then it must be true, and that's usually how it goes. You know, all like that's why gravity hasn't been disproven yet, even though we don't understand gravity at its extreme. We get gravity. We know formulas of gravity. We know the behavior of gravity, but we haven't been able to prove or disprove it because we aren't able to explore it in the way that we need to.
That's some heavy information.
JD is the humor of the show, especially when it works like that. That was really good.
Listen,
oh God, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh?
Listen, my humor is just out of this world.
Oh, here, this is also something I said. Also, the time frame of opinions. It's shocking how much they change from a single year to year. Even an interval of months can make a huge difference.
That is true.
That was also something I had said. Even though the Jupiter thing has been going on for 5 years as a conversation, I think
that was the oldest thing that I found. I'm not sure like how long. I'm saying like one of the things that one of the oldest things that I found went back 5 years.
Yeah, but you know, my argument is always, until it becomes a standard, I can't accept it as fact, and I'm willing to change the fact of my belief
once it is proven to be the standard,
to be a new standard. For example, if they told me the world was flat and all information led to it being flat, I have to agree with the standard or I'm crazy. However, if I was somebody who was interested in understanding the world and the universe, like a scientist would want to, or astrologist, I would seek out to disprove the flat theory. And someone did. And they found out that the world was round. And then there was an argument that the world is where the universe centers around. You know, there are people who accept that because it's a standard, but then there are people that fight to disprove the standard. And I'm all for those people. I want standards. I want this red color to be disproved one day. I want someone to be like, no, it can't be red because of blah. And then they explain how it's not red. And once that becomes a standard, I'm like, oh, awesome. This is cool. Evolution, you know, growth.
That you and I have had, I think, a couple times on the show where there's like a theory that, you know, the way, you know, people perceive colors, like this might be red for you, but for me that might be blue for you.
But because people pointed to it and said this is red, it's been educated as red.
We all go, oh yeah, that's red.
Yeah, because we can't define our visuals. Like I don't know what you're seeing. I can look at what rods are working in your eyes and like which ones are deteriorated. Like I could probably study that. Not me personally, but a scientist could be like, or a doctor can be like this.
They could see physically what's working, what's not working.
That's how they can decide what a dog may or may not see, because they go, well, this is how it works. This is the functionality of it. So based on the data right now, the data that is the standard assumes this information to be true. That's why they've changed that dogs actually don't see black and white.
Didn't they change it to they have like dulled colors? Is that what it is?
Something like that. It's a desaturated. So we see highly, well, not highly, but this is saturated compared to like a flat image. You know, a flat color. That's another way of saying color is flat, like when it's just dull.
Now, does them having the dulled colorization help with like the night vision, or is that?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't believe dogs have good night vision. I think they just have amazing sensors, right? Do dogs have amazing night vision?
Goggles?
Oh, dogs have bad night vision. Dogs see better than humans do at night, and dogs have many adaptations for low light vision, which is different than the night. What the hell? A larger pupil lets in more light. The center of the retina has more of a light-sensitive cell, which work better in dim light than color detector, which isn't necessarily doesn't mean they see better in the dark. It means that in lower lights they see better
Gotcha.
because more light is coming in. However, they have amazing. I mean, their other senses are just. What is that noise?
I don't know. What is
We're
this?
being electrocuted, folks.
My microphone?
Oh, here we go. Funny you say that, because the sense of color has both cultural and psychological aspects. The human mind processes colors within the light spectrum. So there's a whole bunch of
Undescribable.
undescribable color. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing glasses.
Okay.
Colors,
Hello, light formation.
or light formation. What is going? That's so funny.
What's
Take
going-
your wire out and wait. Take your wire out and then just put it back in. That is wild stuff. Yeah. So again, as Ghost Hand is really saying, is that what? That's not me. I mean, that's not. What is that? That's not me. My mic was on. What is going on? I think I know what it is. It's craziness.
Ghost in the machine.
Ghost in the machine.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Oh,
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Hello.
Are you in?
Yes. I am.
Hello? I can't hear you.
That's so weird.
You're not even. How come you're not on? Oh well, whatever. Where were we saying? So the mind processes colors within the light spectrum. Yeah, and again, some people, you can't see the same as other people. Like that's why we have color blindness and stuff like that.
That's why some people need glasses. Some people.
I don't think your mic is on.
It is very much on.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Oh, you're just low.
It's all right. Oh, what? There. Oh my God. I have a
Oh,
voice.
hey.
I'm here.
I'm sorry,
I'm here,
folks.
everybody.
All right. I'm here, everybody. Anyway.
But yeah, that's. I mean, that's why some people, are able to see like really, really far out. That's why some people need glasses. Some people don't. That's why even people with glasses have different prescriptions.
That's right. I actually have 2 glass eyes.
How do you see me?
So I have 2 glass. I have 2 of them.
prescription, JD.
Yeah, the prescription glass eyes.
Oh,
I knew this guy had a fake eye, and he's like, "You want to see something?" And he takes it out, and I was like, "Can you?"
God.
And he's like, "That's not funny." I was like, "Neither is you showing me your empty eye socket. Like, why do I want to see that? I'm literally going to lunch with you."
And now it's stuck in your head forever,
Yeah. He'll always be ugly.
with or without the eye.
You all, everybody. Okay.
How do you lose his eye?
See, something happened.
I mean, that explains a lot.
Yeah. How do you lose it? You think I would ask somebody that?
I mean, if he got that far, he's going to show you his like.
I
eye socket.
wanted less to do with him after that. I was like, oh, this guy has 0 boundaries. Do
Please.
you want to see something? Here's my penis. Hey, I can't believe you did that. Oh, yeah? Does that disturb you?
Want to get freaky with that eye socket?
Did you know the inside of your mouth is the same skin as the inside of a vagina?
Really?
Yeah, go ahead. Feel it. Let's see if that's accurate. The inside of your mouth is the same skin
It's a vagina.
as
Inside.
a
vagina.
JD. I mean a vagina.
what?
Vagina.
That'd be a very hairy vagina then.
I spelled it vagina. Okay. Is the skin in your mouth the same as your vagina? The inside of your cheek is made of the same tissue as the inside of your vagina or female vagina. Because I don't have a vagina. It may have a little something to do with the fact that the tissue of the inner cheeks of our mouths resemble the tissue found on the inside of our vaginas. Well, that's interesting.
That is very interesting.
I'm
knowledge.
actually
That's
more
gonna
interested in 7 hilarious facts about vaginas you didn't hear before.
be- Oh yeah.
Disney was the first to use the word vagina in a film. I know what film that is.
Really? What film?
It had to do with the menstruation process. It is. Let's look.
Was it like a
It was
science-
called The Story of Menstruation. So it was just a sign. Yeah, it was a video.
Was it like one of those educational schools?
Yeah, it was an education. The vagina
funny.
bleeds every 28 days. Vaginas have something in common with sharks. Yes, they kill men. Both vaginas and sharks contain an organic lubricant called squalene. Squalene? Squalene? Oh, my computer's going crazy. Get out of here. Get out of here.
What's the word?
Has to do with a pH balance. Squalen. Squalene. Squalene. I just like that word now. And it's found in shark livers. Oh, great. Vaginas have the same pH balance requirement as a peach.
Interesting.
What is it? The word vagina comes from the Latin root meaning J.D. McGibney.
Oh, wow.
Also, sheath for a sword. That's funny.
That is really funny.
That's extremely funny. The word clitoris is an unknown item to J.D. McGibney. It says it right here. That is.
Oh, look at that. It's
that is
scientific
hilarious.
Fact.
Yeah, scientific fact. J.D.'s penis is. All right. Clitoris comes from the the Greek word key.
Oh.
You would think they're more interested in the anus than the. All right. The female vibrator was invented to cure hysteria. That I knew.
Wait, really?
You didn't know that?
I did not.
You would go in if like you were hysterical or like, and they would a doctor would literally put a metal rod into you or the vibrator and they would use their foot to move it and they would just go. You didn't know that?
I did not.
That's interesting.
My mind is blown right now.
The inside of your cheek. Oh, we already read that.
Yeah.
Vaginal steaming is something you can get as a spa treatment. Okay, I'm done.
Apparently, so is the article.
That's ridiculous. I don't have time for that. Oh, what do we got
here?
We got this person is a dentist. As a dentist, yes, it is. The tissue is special designed to keep temperature and humidity. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because just the logic in that, because you would grow bacteria if it wasn't regulated and stuff, right?
That makes sense. Keeps it healthy.
Huh. Now, how do I extract the demon from the vagina?
The vagina troll.
The vagina.
Pillow pants.
Pillow pants. I got the pillow troll. My girlfriend said she has a pillow troll, and I just can't go in there. Have you ever been with a girl that was like, "Hey, I have a troll down there. You're not allowed to go there until the toll is marriage."
I have never been with a woman that had a vagina troll that required the payment of marriage.
I was.
How'd that go?
I was like, well, can I just talk to your aunt?
I have so many more questions, but I don't know.
She looked like a troll.
Oh.
The aunt, not the girl.
Again,
I have two rules, by the way. When I meet a girl, I go, can I see pictures of your mother and father, right? And then they show it to me, and I go, This is what I want to be. Is this what I want to see in 20 years? How old are your parents compared to you? Like, how old are you? Like, what are you, 30?
33.
How old is your mom?
She is 63.
So she's
64.
So she's basically 20 years older than you.
30.
Oh yeah, 30 years older than you. All right, so 30, right? So if I was a girl and I met you when you were 18, I'd be like, let me see a picture, because I would know what you look like when you hit your 40s, right? 48, right? 30 and 18.
Yeah.
Right? And I'd be like, do I want this or not want this? That's a reasonable thing.
I mean, that is definitely reasonable.
Right? But you could also go, let me see your dad too. And then you compare it and you go,
But there are instances where, a good chunk of stuff like that doesn't line up, because like you, for instance, like,
oh my God, you
definitely
say my parents are ugly?
No, I'm saying like
Jesus.
every male member of your family is bald, and you have 8 feet of hair.
Yeah, but there's a reason for that. I have a desire to deliver milk. My mom was always running out of milk back in the day. She'd just be like, I don't understand. I guess we got to call milkman again. And then one day I was like, Papa. And he was like, I don't think so, son. And I was like, what? You literally are the only other father in here. He's like, not if I could help it.
Wait, what?
My dad once told me all the time whenever I was bad, he'd go, I just wish I wish your mom wasn't horny that night. I go, when?
That is really funny.
That is. I wish your mom wasn't horny.
Oh, God. I wish I could just like be around your father like more than I think I've only been around him like twice.
Well,
he seems like a very funny individual.
He's very funny, and he probably would treat you really well. And then when you left, he'd be like, "Don't let him back here." Just kidding. He would forget who you were. When you left, he's that old.
What?
Did I ever
Oh.
meet that guy? Yeah, Dad. When? You just met him today. All you did was turn around and get your cup of coffee.
Who are you?
Coffee?
Oh, where'd this coffee come
Oh my
from?
God, I was just thinking. I was thirsty. Drinks it. Oh, what's that in my mouth? Get it out, get it out, get it out.
How'd that get here?
Oh my God.
Why are we slowly turning him into Foghorn Leghorn?
I don't know. Get that out of here.
Get out of here, I said, boy.
You got to keep your eye on the
On the
ball.
bucket.
Get eyeball. It's a joke zone. 50 minutes in. That's not bad. What do you think we could do for another 10 minutes? See?
It's a very riveting conversation.
I don't know. I would give it like a 3 out of like 30,
Oh.
which is about 10%.
All right, so we're better than none.
It is better than none.
It's better than a poke in the eye.
However, sometimes 10% is more than I was bargaining.
Like, I was hoping this would be over by now.
Like I tell everyone, 40% of the time, I'm 100% right. How often have you been in a conversation, would you say, percentage-wise, where you entered the conversation and you believed you were right?
I would say a good chunk of them.
And
if
how
it was a
often-
conversation about
anything?
like if it was a conversation that involved having a stance and not having just like an explorative conversation.
Yeah.
So a good chunk of them. So percentage wise,
Be way up there.
40, 50%.
Buddy. Now, how many of those conversations, percentage-wise, were you wrong? Let's just use the last year.
With you, all of them.
Does that mean there's a chance that the previous ones you were wrong,
Yeah.
but you didn't believe it?
At the time, no. But I have come to learn that I'm definitely wrong a lot more than I am right.
You know, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely should be murdered, you know. Just kidding. No one
No one
wastes their
cares.
time.
Aw.
I would kill you if you want. If you wanted me to kill you, I would do it.
You don't believe in killing people.
Yeah, but because you want to do it, I'd be like, well, this is what he wanted. And you'd be like, how'd you know? It's like, well, I wrote the letter out.
and forced him to sign it at gunpoint.
Forced him to sign it. Didn't he have any say so? I don't know. He was knocked out.
But his hand was on the pen when I signed his name.
Yeah, check the fingerprints.
It's not even close to his signature. Fingerprints.
What are you talking about? It's an X. All Jewish people coming across the island sign with an X. Oh, actually, no, a circle. They refused to do an X.
It's too close to a cross.
Yeah, they didn't want to sign with a cross. Yeah.
Which is where the derogatory name for Jewish person comes from.
Yeah, the keikel, because a keikel is a circle.
The cycles.
The cycles. I don't mind derogatory words. I mind derogatory intent.
Yeah.
You know, like if someone calls me a guap, I'm just like, oh, yeah, whatever. But if they're like, you're a guap. Like one time, my
Guapamole.
friend / landlord was yelling at an Italian, and he just started. He's Greek, so he really has no stance. But like he was, he was just, he couldn't win the argument because the kid parked in front of his driveway.
Like blocking the driveway?
Yeah, but it was like one of those, the car was still running. He ran into his grandfather's house just to get something and come back out.
Yeah.
I don't even think it was five minutes. But he was like, the guy was like, I'm moving. Like I was just running in to get the thing. He's like, I don't care. Just get the car out of here. And the kid's like, what? And he's like, what? And they started like doing like puffed up the, one guy,
The puff up your shoulder thing?
Yeah, we're in a fight because I could be wrong. And then his retort was just attacking the guy's Italian heritage. And then afterwards he looks to me, he goes, I just want you to know halfway through that I realized you are Sicilian. I hope you know I didn't mean any of that. I was just saying it because he aggravated me. I was like, listen, I don't care that you have sex with little boys. And he's like, what? I was like, you're Greek, right? I'm just assuming you love tossing the salad. There's nothing wrong with saying the truth.
Oh, God, I don't understand like why you would care if he was just temporarily stopping the car to get something or run in really quick.
Listen. Anyway, so why do you think he was mad?
Probably,
I don't know.
Probably because he was trying to prove his dominance over the other guy? It wasn't the fact that
No.
he was mad?
What happened psychologically is the guy defended his actions for putting the car there, and the other person just didn't want the car there.
Gotcha.
So they were upset that the person was making an excuse for the car being there and didn't just move the car.
Gotcha.
You know, it's like, well, well, it doesn't matter that it's here. And then he was like, don't ever park here again. Like that was how they, but in reality, I understand both perspectives, but the execution of the emotion expressing was
And they
poorly
getting angry
executed.
at each other?
Yeah, it should have been like, I apologize. I didn't realize, I didn't think. Let me just move the car. Like that's what the guy should have said. Right?
Yes.
Because parking in front of a driveway in general is stupid. Especially when you're in like a high movement area, say like Brooklyn.
Where there's like, a pinky's width of space between things.
Yeah. It's also irrational to have somebody that parks next to a car on a Brooklyn street, since cars park on left and right, and then like to park in the middle is crazy.
Because you're literally blocking the entire road at that point.
Also, to add to the logic of it, there was two open driveways for the grandfather's house where the person could have parked in there. But their mental decision was based on, I'm only going to be in there for 5 minutes. Let me park by the driveway because I don't want to block traffic, right? But there's no way I'm going to be in there long enough to bother anyone. Like, that's the logic of it.
Wait, but did you say that there was an open driveway by the grandfather?
There was two because the house has the two driveways. They could have literally parked in the driveway. But the logic is, I'm not going to be here long enough for me to park. The car was running. I'm just going to leave it here for 2 seconds.
But you literally have to park because you have to stop the car, put it in park, and get out.
Well, the concept of parking for some people is shutting off the engine, closing up the car. It's going to be there for a while. They are parking the car.
Gotcha.
But the logic was, I'm only going to be here right. But again, both people believed they were 100% right,
and then felt the need to defend themselves.
Yeah. In reality, no one was right, because there's no reason to get mad at someone for making a mistake. It's just a mistake. They did not do it on purpose to mess up your day. They stopped there on purpose.
But the intention was not to mess up the other person's day.
Yeah. And that's
or to be malicious.
Or to be malicious. But the way the interact, literally all the kid had to say was like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Bad. I didn't think about it. Let me just get out of the way. I won't do it again. Done. Right? That's it. But what made the other person wrong is the way they responded to the situation.
The getting angry and buffing up and being testing.
Yeah, I can understand being like, I gotta get somewhere, and like,
I gotta get out. You're blocking me.
But at the same time, it literally was like he walked out and the kid was walking to the car,
to move,
to leave, to literally leave. It wasn't like he was like, whose car is it? She's like hitting the car and like, has a microphone. Whose car is it?
Oh my God. Can we tell this story later, but have him actually do that?
Oh my God. Whose car is it? It was just so crazy.
He's got the megaphone. He's on like a milk bot, like a milk crate.
Yeah. Attention, people on the block. There is a parked car still with the engine going. You know what actually one of my pet peeves are, because I grew up around mechanics, is when people call engines motors. I hate them. Because it's ignorant.
Because the motor is just like one specific component, correct?
No, a motor is an engine is propelled by explosion. So like, how does an engine on a car work? Gas fills up into the pistons. It pushes it down to pressurize it. Boom, pushes the piston back up.
Tiny explosions.
The engine pushes forward, right?
Pew, pew, pew.
Whereas a motor is not done that way. I believe.
Are they all electric?
It's not. I don't think they all have to be electric, but they're not propelled.
Woogie.
They're. I think they're. What is that? What is the difference
between an engine?
Between and
a motor.
And a motor. See.
Yeah.
The difference seems to be that engines contain their own fuel source to create motion, while a motor draws on an external source. Many would say an engine uses fuel, whereas a motor uses electrical, which is what you're saying, or mechanical engine energy to create motion, which is the opposite of just an electrical source. Meaning, like, let's say I'm riding a bike.
Oh, like the hamster wheel.
Yeah, the hamster wheel idea. But the words engine and motor have been interchangeable in a large part. And
Interesting.
but if I remember correctly, the reason it's saying fuel powers it, it's actually by burning it. So it's the combustion of the fuel.
The combustion engine.
Yeah, that pushes it forward. Defined as various power units that develop energy or impart motion, such as a small compact engine, a gasoline engine, or
which now is making me think why a motorcycle is called a motorcycle and not an engine cycle.
Because it's a motorized cycle. Because the original motorcycle wasn't, I don't believe, was a combustion.
Huh.
Like you would pedal, and the pedaling would create the energy, and then it would create the momentum.
Are you saying more? Are you saying like just like the bicycle like pedal, or like there was like an electric motor that created that?
Yeah. Why is a motorcycle
Called a motor.
Called a hog. Called a motorcycle. Baby's penis?
Man, I read a lot of these scientific articles today.
It's a hybrid of motor plus cycle from bicycle. Motorcycle also was used late 19th century. That gives the story of how the name came about. The hybrid addition of motor to cycle. Why do they call motorcycle instead of an engine bike? Which is switches are. What is this? I don't need this.
Was a video?
Was this a video? The horse follows the crooks. All right, I have to accept this because this gives the story of how
we're finding out some historical facts right now. About to be educated.
Automobiles can be called a motor vehicle because they weren't originally gas. I believe they were wound, right? Original engines. Yeah, engines were wounded. Yeah. So I don't think they were gas operated because I don't think the concept of gas was. I don't think the way they separate gas is the same thing.
Yeah, because like there are old cars that had like the crank in the front.
Yeah, which I believe made it a motor.
Because it's self-contained.
Yeah.
And does not need the fuel.
Yeah, because engines eventually swapped out the old Wacer box.
What's it called? How do you spell it?
Wacer. You okay there, buddy? All right. Yeah, see this thing. This was the crank, right? Oh, interesting.
It's a water box. It's German.
Mm-hmm. That's literally a water cooler.
Interesting. The Vasa boxer.
See? But I believe bikes, when they first were starting to try a bicycle, they would create the same
something like that.
The crank was actually the pedals, yeah. And
that makes sense then.
So they are motorcycles.
And they just kept the term.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something today.
You know, it changes my
stupid keyboard. Being all keys.
E.J. Pentington created the first motorcycle.
Ooh. It's a very British name.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm E.J.
Look at the first motorcycle. Pip, pip. Pip, pip. Hooray.
And Cheerio as well.
Cheerios. Yep, see?
What?
See it? There it is. See how like it's designed to charge up the motor. Yeah, because there's no exhaust for combustion. Right? Here's another example. Oh, this was probably the first. Oh, steam cycle. This was the first steam cycle. So this isn't even an engine, right? Oh no, it is because it's a steam engine. But
yeah.
See that? Look at that. Oh, this is the evolution. So this is the first one.
That's the first one right there.
And then in 1869, they created the steam one.
Wait, when was the first one?
First one is the 1800s. I don't know. 1885. Jesus.
Jeez.
Wait, what? It's created with building the first motorcycle in 1885, one wheel in the front and one in the back, although it had a smaller spring-loaded outrigger wheel on each side. It was constructed mostly of wood, and the wheels being of the iron banded that were wagon type.
So that is the first motorcycle. This was the precursor, I'm guessing.
Yeah, the steam cycle, which I guess wouldn't be a motorcycle.
Yeah, because this has a this requires outside fuel, which would be the water and the steam.
Yeah, yeah.
The other one was being self-contained.
But
right?
I believe a steam engine isn't the same as a combustion engine because
It is not.
Yeah, one is the heat. 5-cylinder. Look at that. 1892, 1898. Oh, here's the first engine.
Ooh, look at that.
First American production motorcycle. But anyway, so there you go.
We learned something today.
You did.
I did.
I just was verifying the information.
You'd be a teacher.
You know what? maybe that's how I make my money. I don't teach like science. I just teach people how to be successful. But I need to know things. Because believe it or not, the knowledge on multiple subjects helps us understand other subjects. The way we deduce the information and we comprehend and we learn to problem solve with certain things, it helps us actually elevate our ability to do such with new subject matter. So
because it's not necessarily what you're learning, it's how you're learning and how you're able to learn how to apply new information. Is that correct?
Well, that plus, if I learn math, that's going to help me with drawing, right? Because angles, shapes, designs. If I'm an architect, that is drawing and math.
It is.
Right? So
because you definitely have to be very precise when you're architecting.
What else is involved in architecture though? Science. Learning what to figure out, can I make this ledge go further off the house foundation
and not have it
without it falling up, right?
Because everyone dying.
Yeah. So that there's a whole bunch of elements to it, but what I was always taught was by people that actually were not teachers, but well, technically my great cousin was a teacher, but because he was bored, so he would teach at Longwood. Because
like, I'm bored, I need to do something. I'm gonna go teach.
Because on the side, he was like, he worked for the government secretly. He was an independent contractor for that. But he
secret agent man.
Secret agent man. The concept is that you're not learning a subject to understand. Like if you're working on math, this is how I explain it. If you're working on math, you're not learning math for math. You're learning math for practical application in life. You're learning how do I take what it took to learn math and how I broke down math. How can I utilize that skill to break down, say, English, like grammar? How can I use it to break down design? How can I use it to break down? So the process to understanding math should be a tool that you're developing.
Gotcha.
So like usually when you and I get into a conversation, I break down your language and like what you're saying and what's going on. And the reason I'm doing that is because the tool to do that is more powerful than just going 2 and 2 is 4.
Because you need to understand what it is that is being said, and it helps you understand.
It's not. No, it's not about it's not about understanding and break. It's about the ability. It's about the ability to break it down, not understand. The understanding is another. The tool to break it down
is a tool in itself.
Yeah. Understanding is what hopefully happens after you break it down. You know what I'm saying? Because breaking it down is like, how do I simplify this?
Gotcha.
But simplifying it doesn't, you're not simplifying it, and that's the understanding. You're simplifying it to understand. Yeah.
It's one step to the next.
Yeah. And breaking down is a difficult tool to learn because people don't believe they do it. They just believe I either know it or I don't know it, or I have to learn it to understand it. And you're like, well, how do you understand it? You break it down. You could do it. You do it with guitar. When you learned a scale, did you just learn the scale?
Did not.
No, you were like, "What's the first part?"
Just plug it in from the matrix.
Yeah, just the moment you break it down, like the moment you look at a full scale and you go, "All right, I'll learn this part of it." You have just broken it down. You simplified it for your brain. But there's another way you could even simplify it even more, and the process gets more and more and more. That's why, like, when you and I talk about music theory, sometimes it's a little confusing because the way I broke it down for me to simplify it, like, for example, the circle of fifths is so confusing to you to just be like, what is it? And I'm just like, you play guitar. You shouldn't even have to think about it. You just got to think frets,
What fret am I on?
right?
This one.
Like how many sharps are in it? Well, I don't know. And it's like, well, what fret is the note on? Like if I say A, you should automatically know that's what? 3.
Yes.
Because C has 0, G has 1, D has 2, A has 3. It's literally the circle of fifths. So, but when I learned that stuff, that blew my mind. I think that was the most interesting stuff I learned. Is like, it's like math. Like I like the tricks to being able to do math is more interesting to me
Than actually doing math.
than the math. Yeah.
Like the 11 trick.
Oh, 11 times 38. Well, who doesn't know that that's 400 and something? I don't know. Do you know how to do it? Because 8 and 3 is what? You don't know? But 8 and 2 is what? 10. So plus 1, 11. So it'd have to be 418.
What he just did.
When you do it, because 8 and 3, you have to remember that 8 and 3 is odd numbers, right? Even though 8 is even. 8 and 3 is an odd.
is an odd number. That's what you're
No,
saying.
8 plus 3 is an odd number,
gotcha,
right?
gotcha,
Or
gotcha.
3 plus 8, doesn't matter. So the way you add fast is you go to the even numbers first. So if I did 5 plus 7, I already know that those are odd numbers, but I know that 5 and 5 is 10.
Plus another 2 is 12.
So it's 12. So if I saw 5 plus 7, I would just know it's 12 because I know 5 and 5 is 10. So really, I'm adding 10 and 2, which visually is 12. Like I don't have to do 10, you know, or like 6 and 9. It's the same thing, right?
15.
That's right, because 3 and 12. Oh, yeah. Anyway,
Woohoo!
did you know that? You've never added like that?
Well, just 9 plus 1 is 10.
Yes, 9 plus. Woo!
But 10. so
Damn,
10
how'd
and
you give
6
yourself such a
is 16.
difficult number?
Minus 1, 15.
Look, I'm really good at math. If you like, give me any number plus 1. I got this in spades.
1 plus 1, 4? Ah, damn
1,472 times 0. It's obviously 0.
7.
Seriously, 0?
7?
Did you know 0? What is it? 0 to the 0 is 1.
Oh, yeah. 0 to 0. If
0
Because
to
it's,
0.
I forgot what there's like a specific name for it. Because it's like anything to the power of 0 is 1? Is that what
Yeah,
it was?
Yeah, 0 to the power of 0, denoted by 0, is undetermined, so it equals 1. The most common possibilities are 1, or leaving the expression undefined. That's what it is, undefined.
You can't
Ooh.
do it. They broke math.
Math.
It got broke. Something's not adding up here.
I watched this guy do. He made 2 plus 2 equal 5, and I was
What?
like, yeah.
How do you do
Watch
that?
2 plus 2, yeah, equals 5.
What?
2 plus 2 equals 5, right? And it's possible. So it's 0 equals 0, but 16 minus 12 minus 4 equals 20, minus 15 minus 5. So 4 to 4 minus 3 minus 1 equals 5 to 4 minus 3 minus 1. So 4 equals 5. Therefore, 2 plus 2 equals 5.
Wait, what?
You don't know this?
That is insane.
The other way of working it out, just to help you, A equals B, but A times A equals A times B. But A squared equals A times B. So that has to mean that A squared minus B squared equals A times B minus B squared. So ultimately, A plus B times A minus B equals B times A minus B. Ultimately, what I'm saying is A plus B equals B. So 2B equals B. So 2 equals 1. 1 equals 2. 1 plus 3 equals 2 plus 3. Therefore, 4 equals 5, which means 2 plus 2 equals 5.
My brain didn't capture any of that.
This doesn't make sense to you?
We're gonna have to sit there and actually look at it.
Because look, what is 4 minus 3 minus 1? What's 4 minus 3?
4 minus 3 is 1.
And what's minus 3? And what's 1 minus 1?
1 minus 1?
0. So what's 4 times
0.
0 equals, if it equals this, right? 4, 3, 1, which is the same, right?
Yeah.
Right? So 4 equals 5 because 4 equals 5. It's the formula is suggesting that 4 equals 5.
That's crazy.
But how do you break down 4?
2 plus 2.
So 2 plus 2. That's so funny.
My brain is all kind of.
See, oh, there's a book too. 2 plus 2 equals 9. That's why I like math.
Because it makes your brain go, what just happened?
Here's another example of it, but this is 5 equals 4. It's fucking crazy.
That is.
Teach the controversy. Look at that. This is even breaking it down even more.
Negative 20 equals negative 20.
Yeah. So that's without doing any formula. It's suggesting that negative 20 equals the value of
Negative 20.
Yeah. So if you take 16 minus 36,
Get negative 20.
you get 25 minus 45.
Yeah, which is negative 20 and negative 20.
Oh, yeah. Correct. But then it breaks it down even more. You're just breaking this down until it makes 2 plus 2 equals 5. That's all it is.
That's so crazy.
Here's another version of it.
Why is there so much math?
Math is awesome. Speaking of math, have you heard about this band? You can check them out on Make a Right Left.
Meshuggah?
If you could go back in time and start any band that's famous, what band would you want to be the person that create? Like if you were like, I know all the songs of this band, I'm just gonna say I'm that band. And somehow you meet the same people minus the guitarist. And you're like, hey, I got these songs. And they're like, okay, what are they?
That's a good question. Definitely the Beatles.
Really? Oh man, that means you would have to either kill George Harrison or John. Because they were the guitarists.
They were.
And not kill them, but get there before they did.
And learn to speak with a British accent.
You don't have, no, you're just the person that they discovered.
Like,
and
hey.
you go, I have these songs. Funny thing though, Paul was mostly the writer, I believe. And John would add songs, but Paul would write songs.
Well, didn't you say
John
would get there late and he would just come in with a set of like fresh ears and help like with the arrangements?
Who wrote most of the
Book of Love?
Beatles songs? I think it's Paul. Who wrote the most songs for the Beatles?
For the Bliates.
Chris. Wait, what?
Who the hell is Chris? He's the.
It says here John was the dominant early creative force in the Beatles, but Paul McCartney quickly began to catch up as their career together unfolded. George Harrison made a late push into songwriting as well, but then they were like, no, we're good. But then, as you'll see, there are individual albums where Lennon and McCartney take center stage. Lennon, for the instance, wrote or co-wrote an astonishing 10 songs for 1984's A Hard Day's Night. On the other hand, McCartney is credited for the vast majority of 67's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. On several occasions, things were in a competitive aspect, whereas in 1965's Help and Rubber Soul and 1966 Revolver, they basically split the songwriting differences in 68's The Beatles too, but there was clearly a sense of competition. Lennon would write Day Tripper and McCartney would write We Can Work It Out. But even though they're having trouble, they're not working together.
That's really funny.
So one wrote Day Tripper and the other one wrote We Can Work It Out. Yeah, that's interesting.
And no one ever let Ringo do anything.
Oh, Ringo had some songs. Ringo wrote...
Did he really, though?
Let's see. The youngest member of the Beatles had only one credit over their first 4 studio albums, but then made 11 contributions over their final 4. Oh,
wow.
He's also often sang others' words, so he was a singer for some songs, too.
No, they all took turns singing, but it was mostly John and Paul, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. The Beatles. Now, why is it they swapped with the singing responsibilities?
Because it's not about who's singing. It's about the music. It's about the band. That's the issue with bands. Like the moment someone's like, I'm the lead guitarist, I just start laughing.
You're like,
I'm like, you're not the lead guitarist. And they're like, yeah, I might play the solos. I go, yeah, you play the solos. It doesn't make you the lead guitarist. You're a guitarist that plays solos. Well, then I'm the lead, though. Good luck.
May the force be with you.
It's like someone going, I'm the lead singer. You're the only singer.
And therefore, by default,
No,
the
no.
only singer.
The guitarist and the bass player sing backup. No, they sing backup. I understand, but they also sing. Like they are singing in the band. Yeah, but that's the thing I had to deal with my my old band is the girl who came in. Initially, we said we're just looking for someone to have back and forth vocals, and we also want to add female vocals. But it was never like
Yeah,
we
you
wanna-
wanted.
I
you
wasn't
wanted
like
to
I want
have-
a backup vocal.
Yeah, no, you were like you wanted to have someone who could like sing. You wanted to have like a Nightwish kind of setup where they had back and forth.
It was more like Lacuna Coil, but
That works too. But what I'm
Nightwish
saying is
didn't
like
really do that until later on. They weren't like
because it was
that
more-
wasn't their sound,
gotcha.
right? And but I what I wanted was theater. I wanted theater. I wanted to add
Theatre.
I wanted to add another voice. So instead of me singing songs, we could actually sing back.
Enact.
Yeah, we could talk to each other. But anyway, that person started believing they were the lead singer. And they were like, I need to be center stage. And like, you're playing a guitar. Why would you be in the center? And I was like, okay,
Whatever.
this is why we're not going to make it. I'm going to make it. Our band got signed. And then of course,
And then
we got kicked out of the band. That's the craziest story that I know that I am closely related to.
They started the band. They got signed. They got kicked out of their own band
They got fired from their own band
that they started.
that they started. The person they asked to play with them, who got them signed, fired them. That is amazing.
Is really funny.
I will. That would be probably the last thing when I'm on my deathbed. I'll be like, oh my god, remember when
You know, like
and they were probably like, look, we got signed and like, you know, right? Like they
And-
probably like,
like we don't need that Tom guy. Oh, we got kicked out.
there was a picture of them all like they all had their fingers on the contract. So it's a picture of them all huddled in the dark and they're all like just somehow trying to hold the contract and they all smiling. So I took that photo and I forget what I wrote, but I wrote something funny. Like, you know how they do it. Donald Trump, sometimes they like have him hold up his like he's signed it.
And he's
It's
got like whatever they're thinking.
I
he's
have a
saying.
crayon, like like I did that basically to them. And then there's another thing where it goes
What's crazy though is that like I'm going to take a guess and say that whatever the deal is that they got with that deal was piddly winks compared
don't
to
know.
whatever it is that the contract that you guys had.
I probably because if I remember correctly, all they got was they didn't pay for their studio time and the duplication. And I think they got travel pay for the Europe tour, but they only did one Europe tour before they got fired.
Mhm.
I'm not too sure on the Europe tour thing though. They might have paid for that, but I do know that they got the distribution
That
and
would
they
suck,
got paid for the because they were, but also they were able to afford like Tim, Ripper Owens to come on and do like a special guest, and like that's expensive. That's an expensive thing.
Yeah, that's not going to be cheap.
And that song was not a hit. Like it wasn't like, oh my god,
Ripper
Owens did this song.
Yeah.
Like you can literally ask anybody from any band to play on your album if you have the money.
Yeah. Just be like, yeah, what's your rate?
I'd be like $800 for what? A solo. All right, well, I'll see who else is at. The worst is when they come in and they don't do, because I've seen people get paid a lot of money and they come in, especially for a solo, and it's just like, and you're just like, are you going to play? Are you listening to the song?
Yeah, this is literally an acoustic song.
This is about my mother. I despise solos that don't make sense with music. Like if the solo itself doesn't make the part sound like it's moving. That's why I like the Walk Under the Moon solo, because if you listen to it, the part moves because of the solo. The solo changes the chord sound. And there's a part where it's like, and it's like the music stops. Like it creates the rise, it creates the tension. All solos need to work with the song.
I'm trying to remember the Walk Under the Moon solo. That Are you saying during that point does it turn into the vocal line?
No, it just it's a
can-
solo that adds to the part.
Gotcha.
There's no vocal line or anything. It's not playing. It's not like going da, 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 like, or it's not doing that. It's just adding. It's changing the chords.
Gotcha.
So I'm following the chord progression, but I'm changing it, adding like basically a whatever it is. And then sometimes I'll do like quick solos. Like if I just want to get through it, I'll go down. Like just to kind of
doom.
But in that sense,
to heighten the doom that comes because you have like the fast and then doom. Second doom.
That's part of my trick though. Is like my slow, I'll come in on upbeats instead of the downbeats. So I'll be like,
like, that threw me off.
Down.
Throwing everybody for a loop.
And then the drums come in. Boom, 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 boom. Cock. Doom. But whatever.
You should teach a class on how to write songs.
Well, as long as you don't ever watch the video, I'll do it.
I won't watch the video.
All right, because I don't want to do videos for you.
Don't do videos for me.
Why don't you teach a video on writing? You write all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm not a good teacher.
Who cares about teaching? All you got to do is just say what you're doing.
I'm doing this thing.
Let's see what's going on.
Oh.
Like if you're like, I wrote this song. This is the part I wrote. All right, I added this part. Why? I don't know. It's not cool. Like that's all you have to do. Do you think that would be bad? Like you wouldn't enjoy that?
I might have fun.
You just be like, I like this riff, and then I'll play for like 30 hours until I like the next riff, and then I just put them together, and now I wrote the coolest song ever. And then I don't have to worry about rewriting anything.
And this one's about a giant sandworm.
Because I wrote the parts, so there's no way they're wrong. They're just good. I don't. In fact, I like this part so much. I'm gonna do it 18 times so I could do a solo, a melody, and a harmony. What is that craziness? What the hell?
What's going on?
I don't know what's going on. Wait, put it down. Whatever. Anyway. No, it's not that.
This is creeping me out.
Oh, well.
Ghost. It's ghost in the
Like,
machine.
that's all teaching is, though. It's just
breaking down what it is that you were doing.
Yeah. Like, I did this, and this is why I did it. Even if it's wrong, like, it's still teaching.
Because if you're saying this is what you did and this is how you did it,
that's
not
teaching.
Saying that it is not. It's not saying that it is the definitive way. It's just saying this is how this specific process was done.
Yeah. Like, I teach things that are practical. I don't teach things that I think are good. Like, oh, I like this thing, so it's amazing. I go, this is how you do it.
Yeah, you teach.
I teach process. Process is what I teach. That's what we teach at BBR. That's what I speak about. It's always process because I don't care about the variables. The variables are on your end. Like you have to network. Here are the tools to network. You have to network. Like that's it. You can't be successful without networking. You have to do it. But how you choose to do it
is up to you.
And here are the tools. Find something within you that you're comfortable doing to utilize those tools, and then there you go. Like if you just want to network from home and just call, text, and email people, that's still networking, and that's your comfort level. You don't have to go to the parties. You don't have people think you have to go to the parties.
Agoraphobia does not have to hold you back.
Correct. However, getting involved is like you want to work on things, right? If you're an actor and you want to get involved, you want to act.
You kind of have to be.
You have to get involved, right? But it doesn't mean you have to get involved where you're an actor. It means you could get involved where you're helping on set, or you're helping with casting, or you're helping with something.
Yeah, if somebody needs something and you're able to bring something to the table.
That's the problem with success. People have that like, well, this is what I want to do for a living. So if I'm not doing that, I'm not going to put any time into it. And then you go, but you're a waiter. Well, yeah, I'm doing that to pay the bills.
So do something else within your field of interest to pay the bills.
Yeah, but even if you're not paying the bills with your field of interest in the beginning, if you're choosing like if someone's like I write songs and I have a band, so if I don't make it with my band, I don't want anything else. So I'm just going to try and try and try with my band. And you're like, yeah, but if you start making friends and playing with other bands, you start creating those relationships where someone goes, do you have a band? It'll happen. But the problem is they don't
get so
yeah.
absorbed in the fact that they want their band
Yeah.
to be successful.
But you also run into the other issue.
What's the other issue?
Like if someone gets high, like let's say you're a bass player and someone goes,
yeah.
I want you to play bass with me. There's a point where they think, oh, I'm the bass player. You know, like, ooh, yeah, I'm the bass player. You know, this is my band. It's like, no, you're not. You know, you're hired to be here.
You're the hired gun.
But then there's the other thing. You're hired to be there, so you don't put in the energy of it's your band. Like you're just like, well, I'm just here to pay the bills. And that's bad too. You know, you have to care about what you do. But anyway.
And then there's also those times where like it's you have a band and you know it's like, oh, it's your band, and like somebody else from your band agrees to go and be, you know, like a session person for another band, and you have those control freaks. You're like, oh, you can't be in anyone else's band except for this one.
Yeah,
which is also
it's
a very
terrible.
bad mentality.
Terrible. Yeah.
Question for you.
Oh my god.
When you were in Tenebra,
yeah,
were there instances where you or the other members of the band were in all other bands as well?
Yeah, well, me mostly. I played in funk bands, rock bands. I stood in for people.
Well, you played with your brother a bunch of times, right? But
yeah, I did that too. But if a friend needed someone to stand in, I would stand in. But then myself, my cousin who plays drums, and then his brother who was in our band who plays bass, and then another kid that was playing guitar with us. We decided to do an Iced Earth tribute band, but I said the only way I would do it is if I could sing, but I don't want to be beholden to the way he sings it. I don't care if you guys play the music identical, but
you want to sing it your way.
I want to sing, and however I sing it, I sing it. Like that was
the only stipulation.
That was it, and that caused an issue. Like people were, I was like, well, we're not putting. There's no way I'm putting any time into that band.
Yeah, because it's literally for fun.
Yeah, like I'll show up to practice, and like you guys really want to do shows, set up the shows, I'll sing. But I don't. There's no way I want to be successful with this band. And it wasn't like I hid that. You know?
Yeah.
But then the drummer, the bass player, and the singer started like jamming on the side, but they didn't tell me, and that was the funny part. They were like, we're just gonna keep this secret. And then like when it came out,
I'm assuming it was an original band as well.
Yeah, it was an original band.
So why not just do that with the
Yeah, but the funny part is like once I found out, they were just like, yeah, we're gonna work on the music that we've been working on, you know. So we're not gonna practice today. We're gonna do the other band. And then I was like, oh, well, that breaks the rule we agreed to, which is no other project should take precedence over this project, especially if there's no money involved.
Wah, wah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I definitely was not putting the same kind of energy into the Iced Earth band, which by the way, no one wanted a good name. And I was like, the name has to either be Storm Rider, you know, or so, you know, or whatever. It has to be like a cool name, and they just couldn't come up with a good name.
But like, there's just so many things you could pick from.
I know. Well, this was before. This is just after Horror Show. But like, you know, imagine calling ourselves Damien. That would be funny.
Just call the band Horror Show.
No, I would have hated that. But anyway, and then another thing happened where, whatchamacallit, I said that I was going to start working on Altanian music on the side, but I wasn't interested in doing I was just wanted to record an album.
Wait, so this is after Tenebra?
This is before Tenebra broke up, because they were working, because that band that they were doing on the side turned into the other band.
Gotcha.
But obviously the musicians changed, you know.
Yeah.
But
so Tenebra, while Tenebra was going on, you started doing Altanian.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing it to do it. I just had songs that I knew the band wasn't capable of playing that I wanted to write.
Gotcha.
And that was it. And I was like, I'll just continue writing Tenebra style songs. That's why I took Tenebra songs and rewrote them for the Altanian style,
Gotcha.
because they are completely different styles. One was more like straight doom and like probably gruffer. I would say the music is a little gruffer with Tenebra.
So you'd say you're more like Alice in Chains.
Never. Never. Well, for example, like The Day I Lived, the way the Altanian version is, it has movement, this flow. It sounds more like a story and a score, whereas the other one was just like the chorus. The chorus for Altanian is like down, down, da, down, da, da, da,
Mean for Tenebra.
da, 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 da. No, for Altanian, it's just like has this nice flow to it. Even when it
Oh.
gets heavy, it goes dun, dun, da, 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 right? And it's like us and the night be my light, right?
Yeah.
And then like there's vocals over that, you know, us and the night, right? So they, all right, and then it gets heavier, and when it gets heavier, it still has a down, down, da, do, down, da, 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 you know, and there's just a grunt in the back, but everyone is still going us and the night, and it's us and the night, right? So it still has a flow to it.
Yeah, and it keeps building on itself.
Yeah, the
Flow.
Tenebra version was down, 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 dun, 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 down, 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 and it goes us and the night, dun, 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 night be my light, dun, dun, dun.
It was definitely significantly different.
Completely different. And then there's a part that goes forever, because you know sometimes doom parts go forever, but the part was like dun, ding, dun, 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 ding, dun, 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 ding, dun, 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 ding, dun, dun, ding, dun, dun, ding, dun, 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 right, for the Tenebra version.
Ding dong.
And I think my version, I completely changed that verse. I think the beginning of it starts with that. I think it starts with that, but
And then it grows on itself.
it changes completely. But the beginning of that song, the beginning of Day I Lived is 100% identical.
With the dun dun dun.
Yeah, that whole all the way up to the bong, dang, dang, doom, and then as soon as it goes into
dun.
yeah, but that's the beginning. But like at the end of that, just like it has like it's heavy, and then it just has that like I think 4 notes where it goes boom, down, 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 doom, doom.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And then it's just a guitar going ding, 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 ding. And then the bass is like doom, ding, doo, doom. And then everyone boom, 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 boom. But it builds on itself. Whereas Tenebra was always just sort of like
It was just straightforward
straightforward.
and doomy.
I still remember all the songs. This is so ridiculous. I can't stand it now. And then there was a song called Fallen Pride, and they give me examples like
So basically, you'd hang out there and just like watch the clock as you guys doom the chord around. Are you like loosening the strings while it's playing?
And then it goes boom forward. Don't go. What's inside me?
4 minutes to get 4 words out.
Yeah, which now I don't mind those kind of parts, like as long as they're like not the song. Like if they're in there, it's fine. But like I would probably like if I made that into an Altanian song, it'd probably be like I would probably change the lyrics slightly, but like fallen, what's inside me? You know, like it would be like more theatrical. And the music would probably be like doom, 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 doom.
It would sound less like, you know, it's the chords are slowly unraveling.
Probably. I would still have doom parts in it though, because I still like doom parts, but I mean that first verse, I think it's like 2 minutes long.
For one verse?
For one verse.
Jesus.
It's stupid. And it doesn't even like how I was singing it doesn't even sound like that, because the way we recorded it was like we recorded quickly on like an 8-track.
Oh my god.
at a studio.
At a studio.
Yeah, and we're just like,
This is 1965.
so the guitar sounds like I'm still using like an amp that I'm not even happy with because it's a Marshall, and so it's like, and even the like, that's like, you know, like,
it sounds like tin and all
ah,
that.
it's terrible. And then the drummer and the, you know, I'm just like, you're terrible.
So was he just recorded on a one track by himself? Because you had like 50 people in the band.
The bass, the drums we had, we mic'd the snare, the kick, the toms, and then we had rooms, and we didn't mic the hi hat and the ride. We didn't mic the hi hat and ride. We just had room mics for that.
Gotcha.
But you can, the way they did it, they mic'd, they mic'd the snare, the kick. At the time, he only had 3 toms. Yeah, because he only had 1 kick. I built his drum set up. Like I made his drum set like a drum set I wanted.
So basically, you built up the Thomas Portnoy.
Yeah, basically. And he had rotary toms, and I was just like, use them. He's like, we're Doom. I was like, I don't care. I want you to use them. You know, I was like, that stuff is awesome.
I'm surprised you didn't get him like a thing of like chimes.
He had chimes.
What? Really?
I got him chimes. I got him
Like we're a doom metal band. Don't care.
I got him a cowbell because you need one.
You do.
And every once in a while he just hit it. Like, you know, and I'm like, yeah.
Why is cowbell so satisfying?
I don't know. But it was great. It's like, you know.
I'm just imagining you being all like doing me like, and you hear the cowbell.
I was like, yeah. My thing was like, I want the music to be really good, but at the same time, I want to fuck with people. So that's why, like, I was a real fan of like, you know, ding, you know, like, where did that come from? Like, I like stuff like that. Yeah. Like, I have a song that's an Altanian song where out of nowhere it all stops and there's a piano just going boom, 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 boom.
You're like, what that?
Which is, to me, amazing.
Because it fits.
Yeah. And it's a pattern interrupt. It does its job. That's all I care about.
And it's a banana.
Bing, 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 bing.
All this crazy musicianship.
I know. The next part, though, is like, something like that, and then it's like the whole feel changes, but it's literally the same part that was before the piano part, but because of the way I wrote it, it's a feel change. So
because does everyone come in after the piano part?
No, before the piano part, that riff is identical to the part directly after the piano.
Oh, I see what you said.
But the feel is different, but the guitar and the bass player are still playing the same thing, but the feel is different.
I'm assuming that is because the drums are playing something completely different.
Yeah, I think it goes from half time to double time. So it's like, but yeah, and that's a trick, you know. And then I always wanted to do like multiple vocal stuff with Tenebra, and like everyone, all they would be able to do was like to sing whatever I was singing, or whatever, you know.
Oh, you're talking about like when like in like Broadway shows where you have like multiple dialogues going on top of each other.
Yeah, like Letter of Treason. If you listen to that song, it's an Altanian song, and like everything just drops out except for a couple of instruments, and there's like multiple vocals, like one's singing something, another one's singing another thing, and it just, and the way I have it mixed, they're all moving, and it's set up for if you had like surround sound, it would sound different than it did for. But like I wanted to do stuff like that, but like
nobody could do it.
No, I don't know if they couldn't do it. They just didn't try to do it. You know, like I wanted stuff where I'd be like, you know, the end is here, you know, I wanted to do stuff like that, and then like maybe there was like a I don't know if you listen to the band Sabotage anymore, but they do stuff like, you know, right? And then a vocal goes up.
I think you showed me like one of the songs like when we went on a
I showed you Chance.
That's what it was. And then like there's that whole like the vocal
that
section.
Shit is like, that's awesome.
That is definitely very very intense.
Yeah, and they just in certain songs they do it, and there's a Morphine Child probably has the best example of that. But that's difficult. But I loved it. Like it was easy to me. Like I can do it, and I see it, and I hear, you know. All you got to do is you work out the melody first, and then then you work out the other way, and then you fit the words in. That's it.
I mean, it sounds pretty easy.
and then the guitars, and but the secret is to try to stay on the same chord and let the instruments sort of like kind of take a back step.
You're saying with the vocals.
Yeah, because you shouldn't. If there's that many vocals, you shouldn't be making the music like.
You know, because they're doing all the showy stuff, and
Yeah,
it's also
yeah.
like it gets complicated because they're creating like the chord structure.
Yeah, basically. But even if you all hit the same notes, like and everyone, but the melody. There's also another thing they do on Broadway where they take the same part. So, like, let's say they're like, I've waited my life for you, right? And then it's, I've waited my life for you. And then another vocal comes in, I waited my life for you. I waited my life for you. But they still have the other, I waited my life for you. I waited. Yeah, they would do like more like a 1 or 2 line piece, but the first long one would set the tone, and then people would just come in and say the same thing. But on stage, they would do it. They would do different things, so the line meant something different for each character.
Yeah. Especially like you're talking about like in scenes where like it's more like there's like a busy like town scene or whatever.
Town scenes, yeah.
So like you have a whole bunch of people, and like you have like the main character, like the main character is walking through, and they're singing the main line. Then you have like everyone around them kind of like saying the same thing, but
they're doing different things.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It's like when you masturbate, right?
Twice a week.
Okay. And I'm like, hey, can you stop in there? And you're like, no, I'm not. I'm almost done. And I was like, get out of my room. Same thing.
It is definitely the same thing. Listen, I can't help it if you have the more comfortable bed.
I do have the more comfortable bed.
I mean, the dog looks at me weird when I'm like in his spot, and he's like, yo, dude.
Yeah, he's like, why are you coming on my leg?
Yeah, he definitely gives me that I'm gonna bite you look sometimes.
If you had to choose between having sex with some random dog that you knew was healthy, or like your grandmother,
dog,
you would sleep with the dog.
Yes.
Oh man, it's a male dog.
Where is it?
Really? It's a male Akita.
Grandma.
I don't even think you are. I think you're half the size of a full-grown Akita.
Well, they're like huge.
They're bears.
Yeah.
With lots of hair.
Yeah, there's no way that you could ever control a dog like that. They'd be like, no, I'm in charge.
They tell you to train it at a young age because if you don't, you can't have the dog.
Because it will not. It literally will eat you.
Yeah, you can't be like the way I'm with my Rottweiler. Like moving him around is easy, but like Akitas are just like, did you just try to make me not do something?
How do you spell Akita?
Akita. It's spelled A. Kita.
Oh, I've had him.
Akita.
I didn't.
Akita. It's Akida.
T.
Oh wait, I think this is the wrong dog because this doesn't look like the dog I'm talking about.
Yeah, these are very tiny dogs.
Oh wait.
What is that? That's.
Wait.
That is. Akita dog breed.
Oh, here it is. Yeah.
What is it?
This thing.
Whoa. Yeah, no, that is literally a bear.
Well, what do they call this dog? This is not Akita, isn't it? Oh my god, I'm not watching a
video.
Please have the list. Just show me the list.
Nope. Most powerful dog. A mastiff?
Bull mastiffs are pretty big. Oh, here we go. Oh, the Tibetan Mastiff. Yeah.
Tibetan Mastiff. That is giant. Man, Mastiffs can weigh up to 200 pounds.
Yeah, did you know Rottweilers are actually related to the Mastiff?
I think you've mentioned this before because of the jowls. We had a jowl conversation.
Yeah, I was with a woman that said Rottweilers don't drool, and I was like, yes, they do. And she goes, no, they don't. I grew up with 2 of them, and I was like, listen, you may have never seen it drool, but it has the jowls.
The jowls.
The jowls.
So it's
going to drool. Not all dogs have jowls, right? And then I go, and then on top of it, they're for the bull mastiffs. they drool, and the dog used to always drool. And I'm like, "What are you cleaning up?" And he's like, "The dog's drooling." I go, "Impossible. How can the dog be drooling?"
Wait, you would ask her, and she would say she was cleaning up the drool.
Yeah. I'm like, "How can you say you're cleaning up drool?" Or like my favorite was one time we were in bed trying to go to sleep, but the dog was being like annoying, and I was like, "Oh, the dog has to go out," and she's like, "No, it doesn't," and I was like, "This is the dog's. I have to go to the poo. I got a poo dance."
First of all, she called him it, and not him.
Whatever. So I was like, the dog needs the poo, and she's like, "Well, I need to go to sleep. Let's just go to sleep. He can hold it because he doesn't have to go. I'm telling you, he doesn't have to go." And I'm like, "I'm telling you, he definitely has to go." And she got mad that I got up
To go take him out.
because how can she be wrong? And I took the dog out, and what did he do as soon as we got out there? Not even a walk.
He pooed.
He pooed big, right? So I ran in. I was like, wake up, we have an issue. Something's wrong. And she's like, what? And she jumps out of bed. Oh my God, what happened? Right? Because the dog isn't by me. The dog isn't. I was like, he pooped. She was so mad. But I'm just like, shut up. Like that kind of behavior is annoying.
It is very annoying.
Like, just believe me.
Plus, he has a very distinct poo dance.
Yeah, he gets aggressive.
And he looks at you, and he has like that heavy, like,
hey,
I got a poo, guy.
We can get this out of me right now, or I could just look at you. But also like
he's very vocal.
But listen, this is the thing that doesn't.
How old is he at this point?
I don't know, maybe 3.
You haven't. She didn't pick up on the "I got a poo" dance.
Listen. This is the issue. The dog was being annoying. I get that, and she wanted to go to sleep. So I was like, "Let me take him out. He's got to go to the bathroom." And she says, "No, he doesn't." And instantly, I had an issue because I should just be able to get up, walk the dog, let him do his business, or not. Maybe it was a false alarm. But as a parent,
you have to pay attention to your puppy child.
Yeah, acknowledge what happened. So, and then I come in, and then I go to sleep. It would have taken a little longer to go to sleep. Maybe I wouldn't even woke you up. But the point is, it had to be like it was something that had to be done. But she told me, no, he doesn't.
And she tried to get you to not go.
Yeah. And then she was mad that I went because I didn't believe her.
That is insane.
And then the dog had to poo. And I was right. I'm just saying, as you notice, you're not the only one who does it to me. Everybody almost that I know in my entire life talks to me in the way I hate. So don't be upset that you do it.
We are only human.
Unfortunately.
Wait, what?
I'm just saying people in general listen to talk. They listen to respond. That's first, right? That's rule number. That's a fact. You can't disprove that because everyone listens because they want it. What do? They add their 2 cents.
They do.
Right? They don't get a penny for a thought. They add their 2 cents, right? The other thing is people take the stance of I'm right. Very few people, not just you, very few people enter a conversation humbled enough to believe that there's a chance they are wrong. That's 2. We're already off to a bad start.
For most people.
I had to train myself not to do that. But the problem is I enter conversations with people that believe they are right. And my extensive knowledge and my expertise says, oh, that's not true. However, a majority of the time is I say something first and then someone says that's not true. And I go, all right.
We can move on from this conversation.
We're in for a ride.
Keep your arms and legs inside the cart at all times.
I'm about to destroy you. But the other thing is like, I don't understand why people in conversation don't realize they're not having a conversation when they create a stance. The moment you have a stance, it is no longer a conversation. It's a debate. So if you believe somebody is wrong because you believe you are right, you're now in a debate. But you can't learn if you're right.
Because you're assuming that you're right and you're not taking in new information and you're not in a mental position to be open to absorb new information.
And a pet peeve of mine is when I give information and then the other person researches it, not to prove that I am right, but to prove that I am wrong. And then they are proven wrong. And then you get that like, oh, that's my favorite sound. Oh, look at this. Huh. It says here.
You are correct.
And I'm just like, but like the behavior is there's no way you were not you, but the royal
you.
that people go, let me there's what, I believe them. I believe there's a chance they're right. Let me so I can understand what it is they're saying. No, there's no way this is right. Let's see. There are no
Holy
such
crap,
thing
there are
as blue people.
Oh my god.
But I had to learn to do that. The only, if you notice, a lot of the times I'll double check myself before I double check other people, especially while I'm talking. Because if I'm like, I know this, but like I might be a little wrong, and what do? I do a little research about, and like the Akita thing, like I realized I was saying the wrong name, and I was like, oh, it is the masses, right?
Yeah, you check to prove whether you check to validate the information that you had.
Yeah, not to prove anyone wrong, just to be like, actually to make sure I was right, in a sense of like I don't feel confident in what I'm saying, so I got to get the data. And that's a big issue. People don't do that, and I personally think that's a weakness.
It is definitely a weakness,
because you can't grow. How can you grow if you're the commanding officer in the room?
You can't, because you're not opening yourself to new information. It's just your way of the highway.
Try anal.
Boop.
You would never try anal, ever.
Well, we can never say never.
All right, good, because I have it in the works already.
Wait, what?
You're gonna end up trying anal. I also believe before you die, you will be pegged.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah, hope's a strong word.
Listen, me and that bicycle have a very, very deep relationship.
I'm just saying, you're going to request it. I've been working it subconsciously, and I could tell you because I know that you're going to forget this conversation.
Who are you again?
I have been working it for you to eventually be pegged by a woman and also perform the anal.
It's going to be a very interesting future for me.
I'm just saying. I've been subliminally implanting it into you. What do you think? You think
10 years from now, you're going to be like, yeah.
You want to put a bet on it?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't like to bet.
Well, let's just do a friendly bet.
Nope, don't like betting.
No money lost.
Don't like betting.
It's just the sense of pride.
Don't like betting.
All right, we won't bet. But do you think it's going to happen?
I do not think it's going to happen.
Why not?
Because
what happens if it does happen?
Then it just happens.
Will you then believe that when I say something's going to happen, you'll be like, okay.
I mean, I pretty much believe it at this point now.
Then why don't you believe this?
Because you have the I'm messing with you.
I promise you, I am not messing with you. Only because you said you would never do it. Not just now, but in the past. You're like, that's gross. I would never do that. That's scary.
How'd that go?
And I was like, oh, challenge accepted. I can't wait to see it.
Hey, see it?
Well, yeah, I will have to have proof that I'm going to have proof.
Where are all these video cameras?
I'm going to be like, see, I told you you'd do it. And it was like, that's not me. You have a shirt on that says, it is definitely me. I'm JD. It's the shirt I bought you. When did you buy that? Last week, because I knew it was coming up. How did you do that? I don't know. Why don't you tell me? So you believe that I can do it with everything else but this?
At that point, you'd be like, I think I can retire. I'm done.
Oh, no, because I would have other things in plan. So do you still believe that it's not going to happen?
Yeah.
But you believe that I can predict other things happening?
Yes.
I have predicted other things happening, and they have happened.
That's true.
But this, without a shadow of doubt, will never happen.
Well, then you know what? It's probably going to happen.
I'm just
mainly
saying.
Because you're putting a lot of emphasis on it.
Well, but I want you to believe it.
I have to believe it because you're putting so much emphasis on it, and anytime you put this much emphasis on something, it usually comes true.
Yeah. It's not like someone's like, "Hey, I identify as a cat mouse."
I was a cat mouse once.
What are your pronouns, by the way?
It, that.
You know, if you don't take this stuff seriously, no one will take you seriously. I have pronouns, but I refuse to state them.
I mean,
I have that right,
you do.
but I'm going to assume everyone gets it wrong every time, and I'm just going to be angry.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be like, you're supposed to know what my pronouns are.
You didn't tell me. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You should just know.
Yeah,
If you're in Canada, you can get away with it.
That's true. If I was in Canada, I'd be very happy. Because of all the air is filled with like something that makes everyone just like, hey, my car just got stolen. Have a good day.
That is so accurate.
I'm just kidding. No one knows what Canadians are thinking.
Oh God. And there's poutine everywhere.
There's poutine?
Yeah. Have you never had poutine?
I'm not talking to you anymore. So do you
literally
really believe...
French fries and cheese?
I know. It's a terrible, terrible thing.
What?
Do you really?
It is literally like.
Let's go back to
clog your
this
arteries
is very
with
important.
happiness.
This is about life-changing events.
Yeah, poutine from Canada.
Do you truly believe that it's going to happen one day?
At this point, yes.
You do. You're
Yes.
You're in for the ride.
I'm in for the ride. I'm waiting for the shirt.
All right,
now.
excellent.
I know when I get this shirt that
that it's coming up.
It's
You're
like-
gonna be like, I will not allow it to happen. I won't even wear the shirt. Jesus, where'd all my clothes go? Oh crap! This is the only shirt I have.
Crap.
Well, I have no clothes, so wearing this is not going to influence the happening. Jesus.
Oh God.
Hey JD, I want to introduce you to someone. Who? Gal Gadot. Son of a bitch. Oh, are you the man who said they don't like pegging? Because that's the only way I make love.
I'm in.
What are you talking about? I love pegging. But afterwards, you have to have sex with me in my anus.
Worth it.
That's so weird. I was just thinking the same thing.
I'm in.
Tell me that's not how it's gonna happen.
Oh man, if you got Gal Gadot, whatever is on the table.
That's what I'm saying. You know.
Yep.
And you're like, and then you'd be like, "How did you get me to wear this shirt? I burnt all your clothes. You did what? I got Gal Gadot here. That's great.
You've been forgiven.
You're forgiven."
Why did you have to burn everything?
Well, because he touched it. This is the old JD. We got reborn. You're being reborn.
Yeah, but baby clothes. Why do I have baby clothes? Why everything I own now is a onesie?
Now, if let's say Gal Gadot, whatever her name is,
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, ended up being with you, and that's the only way she was able to have orgasms was through anal, and then she loved pegging you. Like, would that become like your sex life for her? Like, you would do other things, but like that would be like you had to do that, and because it's her, you would let it happen.
Yep.
Really?
Gal Gadot.
Hey, this is interesting. I've already predicted this.
I mean, if you predicted Gal Gadot, I'm totally.
It's
down.
not going to be Gal
This is why
Gadot,
we're
but it
friends.
is going to be the equivalent.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Worth it.
She will be from Israel.
Worth it.
Really? If I get anyone from Israel?
No, but Gal Gadot.
Someone equivalent to Gal Gadot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in a bush. Go to my country, a bushland.
Why do they sound like they're from India?
I don't know. What do they sound like in I don't know. My brother's rabbi prayers are in the name of the Father, the Son, and oh my God, I forgot that I'm not Catholic anymore.
Oh God, that's really funny.
Isn't that crazy?
That is really crazy.
Anyway.
Has he done that before? I'm like, oh wait, wrong one.
No, he's never made a prayer around us. He's prayed that he didn't go to jail, but that didn't work. You know what he reminds me of? The guy from The Mummy that has like all the necklaces.
Oh my God,
Amen. The language of the slaves. You will be benefited.
Benny is such a great character.
I love Ben. I don't even realize that actor. Who's that actor?
Yeah, he's been in like a few things after that movie, but that's all he's is Benny.
Benny.
Benny and the Jets. Benny.
and the Jets.
Oh God, that movie is so good and it's so underrated.
Dear Mommy.
The Mammy.
Dear Mommy. I
What?
hear they might be remaking it.
Again? They just redid.
No, like they're gonna remake that Mummy
Oh.
and not necessarily like
Just-
a reboot. Like they're gonna remake.
That
That
specific
Mummy.
mummy.
This is a video game.
Was it a video?
Why are these games?
I mean, I feel like I'm okay with that, but at the same time, I'm kind of scared because that's just a good movie from
The
beginning to
Mummy.
end.
Oh, here we go.
But it's like one of those things where like you didn't expect it to be good, but it was.
Oh, here he is, Kevin J. O'Connor.
O'Connor?
Oh, that's funny because the main character's name is O'Connor.
O'Connell.
O'Connell. Oh, never mind. Oh, he's in Van Helsing as Igor. That makes sense.
Really?
He was in Peggy Sue. This is in 1886. Wait.
Hold on.
He's acted 56 times.
I feel like since that movie, that's not a lot.
He hasn't. He's been in a lot. In 2019, he was in a lot. Oh, he's on the blacklist.
Really?
Calvin Dawson. Let's see.
The Mummy. The Mummy.
Oh, he does like small little things.
Well,
He was Dr. Mindbender in The Rise of Cobra. Oh, he was in The Beast. 13 episodes. He was in There Will Be Blood. Van Helsing. He was in the first one and the game. Let's see.
He was in that miniseries 11/22/63.
Yeah, I don't even know what that's about.
That's Stephen King thing,
I don't know what case.
where the guy goes back in time.
Where's he go?
I think it was
Back in time?
yeah, to like the Kennedy assassination.
When did that happen?
Tomorrow.
Was that 63?
It is actually.
Is it?
Is it 63? Yeah. 11/22/63, which is the date that he goes back.
Oh, is it really?
I think so.
Oh, that's funny. I just took a remembering guess on that. I wasn't too sure about that. That's why I started searching it. I was like, is that true?
That's impossible.
That's impossible.
Ooh.
I feel like you say that because I say that. Not in that way.
I say it because I'm just I'm making fun of the line from Star Wars.
Oh, I feel like you're making fun of me because you always say stuff and then it starts a huge conversation where I'm like, that's not even possible.
No, I'm
It's like you exaggerate. You become exaggerate, man.
I do exaggerate, but no, I'm exaggerating the. I'm doing the Luke from Empire Strikes Back, where he goes, "That's impossible," but I'm doing it like silly voice.
Yeah, but what is the motivation to do it?
Because you keep saying, "Is that true?"
So you're
And then
making fun of me.
No, and then I just do the Star Wars line because it triggers me to do the Star Wars line.
Well, why can't it trigger you to give me $5 every time you fucking get me into argue? I think that should be it. Every time you believe you're right, and then we have a conversation where I have to prove that you are wrong, I get $5 because I could really use a new car.
We both could use a new car.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be getting one in that situation. I don't try to prove you wrong. It's just you believe you're right, and that just blows my mind.
And you're like, there's no way he can continue living.
No, it's just, well, some things I let you like live with. I'm just like, oh man, I can't wait till he repeats that, and I'm like standing there, and someone else hears it, and I'm just like, like this is gonna be funny. It's like the conversation I had with this comedian for like months upon months, where he could not believe that glass was a liquid.
Oh yeah.
I believe it's now considered its own liquid. Like it became
it became its own thing. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, like I think they just
it's not liquid or solid. It's glass.
Water. Not water.
Glass.
Yeah, scientists tell us that glass is a state of matter rather than a single material. Glass is created when a molten material cools so rapidly that there is not enough time for it doesn't crystallize to structure to form. But is glass a liquid?
So are you able to make glass out of other things that are not sand?
It's considered crystal now, but it's a crystalline structure. But it's neither a liquid nor a solid anymore. It's an amorphous solid because it moves, but it maintains a solid form for X amount of time. But anyway, so I just was like, fine, believe all you want. And he's like, I took science in high school. And I was like, but you're not a scientist. He's like, either are you. I'm probably closer to a scientist than you are with the stuff that I research,
And especially
just to
growing
keep
up
me from
literally
killing people.
with a scientist in your family.
Well, plenty of people. But yeah, but being around a scientist does not make you a scientist. But it's the way I perform my my research, and the way I try to change anything I learn. I try to use it practically. So and then to prove it and disprove it. So I approach my education the same way a scientist would approach a discovery or a potential discovery. Anyway, so that story goes is if anyone's ever heard this show before, where we went to like a comedy club, and this guy, the comedian was like, I gotta go to the bathroom. And when he went to the bathroom, the guy I was talking to, that we were talking to, was like, he said that he's a scientist. And I was like, a real scientist? Like a scientist? He's like, yeah, I work at a lab. I'm the second in command. Like he's talking. I was like, all right, I'm going to ask you a question when my friend comes back. And I would like you to answer that. And he's like, yeah, no problem. So my friend comes back and I go, hey, funny story. This guy is a real scientist. And he goes, oh, awesome. I love science. The kid says. He goes, yeah. I was like, wait, can I ask you a question? And the guy goes, yeah, sure. I go, isn't it true that glass is a liquid? Yes.
Without even missing a beat.
Yeah, like he finished he goes, is a liquid? Yes. And he's like, this was a conversation you had before. And I was like, nope. And then we had the other comedian friend there. I was like, no, there was no pre-talk. There was no like, hey, by the way, I'm going to ask you about this thing. He's like,
I have a question that I'm going to ask when this person comes back.
But it was funny because
an actual
he still didn't believe the scientist.
That's so funny.
He just went, ah. That was his thing. I mean, right? Which was kind of funny. But I just the thing with you and I, though, like I want you to know what you're talking about, because you're a direct reflection on me, right?
Yes.
Whereas like other people, I don't care. Like that guy, I didn't care. Like I was like, you enjoy that. And then I finally proved how ridiculous it sounds, because he's
with an actual scientist.
Yeah, and he was like, there's no way. And he was telling the guy he was not right.
The guy's like, I study this for a living.
He's like, it literally is what I do. But because it was such a debate, that I know that they changed the form. They made glass its own thing. It's just funny.
It is, because it's such a weird, like the way it reacts is it's unique compared to most other things that are either solid or liquid.
It moves so slowly, it's a solid. But at the same time, if you look at
the fact that it does move, like the fact that if you were to take a look at like window panes that have been around for like 50 or 100 years, there's definitely a significant change from what's at the top of the pane and what's at the bottom of the pane.
It thins. The glass thins. The strength,
because
the
it all goes to the
integrity.
bottom.
Yeah, and you can see it's a little thick on the bottom. But anyway, your responsibility is not to be as smart as me or like as good as me. Your responsibility is at least to have integrity.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Just know.
That's why I answer most questions with, that's a good question. Ask Thomas.
Do you ever do shows that I'm not involved in where you talk as you're an expert?
I give my opinion on stuff.
Oh, do you start off with, this is my opinion, not necessarily fact?
I'll say in my experience or in my opinion, yes.
Oh, all right. It's better to actually say something like, I am not an expert in this subject, but this is how I have done it. And now it doesn't matter what you say at that point.
Because it's like, it's just what you have done. It's a fact that you did it this way.
Yeah. But like, like if you go, on behalf of BBR Productions, I'm here. I'm an expert. And then like everything out of your mouth is just, what? What is the kid saying? That's exactly what you told me. I was like, maybe from like 30 different conversations that you put together like into one narrative of something that had nothing to do with anything. You said marketing is marketing. What?
That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, can you describe marketing? Absolutely. It's when you market. Oh my God.
Having a panic attack.
Please get this guy. Shut this man up. Shut this man up. What? The dog's going crazy. What did you think marketing was before you met me?
I didn't really have
a
clear idea. I think like a lot of people, I had a misconception.
What did you have?
A misconception?
Did you see a doctor about that?
Yeah, I'm having a moment.
I lost my child. I was no longer pregnant. You're a dude. I know.
It was
Do
crazy.
you see a kid? I am not wrong.
I think you need to go see someone for the upstairs doctor.
I'll let you keep that one. How's your forearms? Pretty good. These are good for birth gift. All right, good.
Hold on, I gotta check my pulse.
What are you saying?
I think I had a misconception about what marketing was and thought it
No, you
was the
did.
same.
You did have a misconception.
I did, but what I'm saying specifically, I think my issue was that I had that and advertising mixed. So I didn't have a clear distinction between marketing and advertising. So I thought marketing was more of like, oh, I have to push and tell people about this thing that I'm doing, and I didn't necessarily know what the difference was.
Well, marketing as a science is defined as placement in the market. That's
it.
basically. So, like, you ever go to a supermarket?
Yeah.
And like anything that's on a shelf has been marketed there.
Because
It's in the market.
I see.
The item has been placed into the market.
Physically placed into the market.
Of a market. Like we know we can
We're
sell
in
this.
a market. It is in the market.
No, but like we can sell this in this market because the people in this market can blah blah blah, right? So that's how but marketing
is the process of getting it to the market.
Well, it is taught how do we get it to the market, but what do you? I simplified it.
You did,
because what are you actually getting to the market? Your branding. You're taking a brand that you design and you're just trying to build awareness for it. That's all you're doing. Advertisement is something completely different, right? That's where you're pushing to get people to notice it. But if I just place something in a supermarket, I am marketing because my brand exists. And how do we know that? Because the label exists. I worked very hard on creating that label. I worked hard on the placement of that label. I worked hard on what aisle that product goes on. I worked very hard on what store it goes on, what area of that town it goes in. Like that's all marketing. How do I build awareness? These are all the things I have to do to build awareness. So I simplified it because again, I don't care about variables. The variables in those situations is like what town, what store.
Yeah, you literally simplified it to the point where it can be applied to any variable.
Anything, yeah. Because I care about what marketing really is. And what marketing really is designing a brand to build awareness, which creates interest that ultimately generates sales so people buy into your brand's message emotionally. And
that's 2 emotion hugs, please.
Luckily I'm deaf. I didn't hear any of that.
What?
But when you say you were crossing your chakras with that, you just thought, hey, I have a CD is marketing.
And pushing was the main thing. So basically having it and going, hey, I have it. Hey, I have it. Or like making an advertisement or making like one of those like the Facebook promos for like, oh, here we have this thing, or oh, we have a show coming up. I thought that was marketing.
Yeah, because advertisement, by the way, marketing is a conversation, but advertisement is not necessarily based on building awareness anymore. Advertisement is focused on getting it in front of as many people as possible for a specific thing, which is a quick return on the numbers. So if I can get it in front of 1 million people, I know this is what my return is. So then I could say to myself, based on the laws of return, right? If 1 million people see it and I get 10% to even notice it, that's 100,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
And out of those 100,000 people, I know that 10% are going to be interested. So that's 10,000. So I know that out of 10,000, 1,000 people are going to actually buy the product. So now I have to say to myself, how much money am I going to get on 1,000 sold units? And that dictates my marketing budget. Because how do I reach 1 million
would that
people?
be marketing budget or would that be advertising?
My advertisement budget. So you would say to yourself, but like on paper, it would say marketing budget.
Why is that?
Because you're trying to market your brand
through advertising.
Through advertisement.
I see.
Because again, the movie, like Avengers Endgame, is placed into a market, and thus it's marketed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But the advertisement aspect is if I spend $500,000 and those 1,000 new units sold do not equal more than $500,000, that would be a bad campaign.
Because you would have spent more than you got.
Yeah, and bands will buy, let's say, 1,000 CDs.
Which is weird nowadays because,
But let's just assume they buy 1,000 CDs, right? Is that the thing is they have 1,000 CDs, but they're not marketing in a way that allows them to pay for advertisement to get 1 million people to see it enough so they could sell those 1,000 units. You need 1 million people just for the numbers game
to see it.
To sell those 1,000 units is anybody who's not your friends and family.
I mean, unless you have a really big family. If you're Italian, Greek, or Jewish, you have 1 million people every Christmas.
And none of them want to buy your stuff. Because what do you mean you're making me buy it?
I'm family.
Yeah, I'm family.
Family. Yo.
I don't know what this kid. You know what I'm saying though? Like people don't.
Yeah. Because most bands also are just they think on the level of like, oh, that's my foot. They think of like, oh, let's just make the album, and then they go like person to person, going, here, I want to buy this. Here, I want to buy this. Here,
which is advertisement.
Just terrible advertisement.
It's free advertisement. You saying buy this is free advertisement because it costs you nothing. Well, it costs you
your time.
Yeah.
But it does not cost the money because you already spent the money on the thing.
But
if it's not the advertisement.
If you travel to a show, it costs you gas. So now you got to put that down.
And a small portion of your soul.
But if you focus on marketing your brand and building an organic relationship with your audience, it will lean into that venture. I mean, do you need things to no, but there's going to come a point where your audience desires data, right?
And they're going to be like, hey, we want things.
Yeah, like I'm following you. I'm buying into you. I love your personality. I love what you have to offer. But what am I getting out of this relationship? Because you're not building a friendship.
Correct.
But it is a relationship. And it's like, all right, we don't get to hang out. But if I'm going to give you my time, what am I getting back? Are you entertaining me? Are you educating me?
Are you not entertained?
Are you fulfilling one of my needs in life? And that's where sales come in. Because if someone believes in you enough and you have these products, they'll buy them. But you can't have products
if nobody
to build a
them.
relationship. Because if you build a relationship on a product, you have to keep making that same product. But if you build a relationship based on what your brand represents,
then it doesn't matter what product you make. Yeah. You can just do whatever. You're like, let's do an album. Let's do a video game.
Yeah.
Let's make some weird looking Croc slippers.
But there's also for example, there's an audience for comic book movies.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean if I make a comic book movie, I will get that audience.
So you're saying if you make a Howard the Duck remake,
that would have an audience. Why?
Because it's Howard the Duck.
Because Howard the Duck has a brand value. But if I just made like
The Rocketeer.
No, because that's an established IP. But if it was like Tim the Turtle, right? He goes from a turtle to a human to a god.
I'm in already.
Right? But no one you're in because I'm telling you about it, which means I advertised. Right? But what I'm saying is like I can't just put that in the theater and then like put some posters up and maybe like a billboard and expect to make my money back. The billboard alone is going to cost what? How much is a billboard? It's $5,000.
Where? What city?
Average. Oop, what's going on here?
You broke it?
Average cost for a billboard. Average cost for a billboard is as low as $500, but that's not the average. $750 to $1,500 per month.
$750 to $1,500.
That's that. Yeah, that's in rural areas. Now, once we get to small to mid-sized cities, it's $1,500 to $2,000, and $14,000. This is a month, and up for larger markets. See, it's a market.
Los Angeles, $2,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying right here. But isn't
Chicago is 2 to 12.
So let's say I made a movie, Tim the Turtle, right?
Tim the Turtle.
And I bought one billboard, and it was in a major city, and I was spending $14,000 on that billboard. Let's go crazy.
month.
Let's be a little bit smarter. We'll go to a smaller market. Let's go to a mid-sized city. We're spending $2,000 a month. Okay, I cannot put that billboard up the day my movie comes out.
It has to go up before.
At least 3 months. So I just spent $6,000. $6,000, right?
On billboard advertisement.
On just billboard.
That's not even anything else.
Yeah, there's nothing else happening yet. So that means
That's crazy.
the movie itself, let's say I'm self-distributing, meaning like I'm going to show it at
You're renting out a theater and you're showing it.
Yeah, I'm renting out a theater for a weekend only. So it's going to be 3 days. Let's say it's 500, that's $1,500. So now it's $7,500 divided by 20 tickets. That means I have to sell 375 seats to break even.
How many seats are in a theater?
Let's say 100.
So you have to sell more seats than you have.
Right. Now let's say there's 200. So it's 246. So if I can sell half the seats, I will break even. If I sell twice as many seats times 2, I will be able to make money. But that's not guaranteed. Why? Because how many people have to see it for me to get 600 people there? Well, what's 10% more, right? So 6,000, 60,000, 600,000. So 600,000. Yeah, 600,000. So I would have to get 600,000, and the average view for a billboard is anywhere from 3,900 to 43,000 people.
That is a lot of people.
But it's the same people plus or minus a small fraction of a difference.
Yeah, because it's usually on people's like commute to and from work or to wherever their regular.
So let's say
watering holes are.
Let's say it's let's be, since it's we'll say 20,000 since it's whatever, right? Those are the same 20,000 people. So I put it up for 3 months. Let's say to go to work 5 days a week. Okay. So what's that? It's times 10. That's 200,000 times 4. That's 800,000 times 3. Because of 3 months. That's 2.4 million. So divided by times 10%. That's 240,000 times 10%. Oh, become aware of it.
Become aware of it.
They become aware of it. Okay. And then 24,000 become interested. They go, oh, what's that? Right. And then times.
Then 2,400.
2,400 people want to buy tickets. Now, that is your best case scenario of a one billboard.
Best case scenario.
Best case scenario. But rule of thumb is 10% for an unknown brand. So I have to add another 10%.
So 240.
240. That's off of one billboard, potentially. And in business, you don't base it off of one avenue or one potential. You actually have to diversify your advertisement if you're going to go that route.
That is crazy, and that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
Now, seeing stuff like that explains why film budgets have such high, amounts of money in their advertising.
Yeah. Well, let's
avenues.
What we say, 2,400 people. Yeah. Let's assume it was
2,400 people are gonna have
are gonna buy. Right. So 2,400 people times $20 a ticket. Let's just assume it. You made $48,000. You ready?
Yeah.
Minus, this is for the billboard. $7,200 for the billboard and the rental of the location for the 3 days. You're now down to $40,000. $40,800.
How much did it cost to make the movie?
How much did it cost to make the movie? This is another part, right? So let's say the movie cost. Well, our movie was going to be $50,000.
So we wouldn't even have broken even.
So let's take $50,000 off. Boom. We're now $9,200 in the hole. So we can't pay back our investors. We were able to pay for what? The advertisement. We got our advertisement money back, and we got back. We were able to afford the rentals, but we are not able to afford the movie.
So, would a case like this be? We would have to show multiple times, multiple.
Well, then you have
weekends?
to market again. You have to do the advertising again because you're focusing on what?
The thing.
Just getting the movie scene, and you're not focused on building a rapport with your audience through your brand.
For them to go and search it out without you even having to fucking pardon.
Our job is to get people to say, "Oh, that's a BBR film. I'm already interested." Just like it's a Marvel film, I'm already interested. It's a Disney film, I'm already interested. Right? Some people they look at the oh, this was made by Lionsgate. It's a hit or miss.
Mhm.
Right? You build up the value, and not because they're like, "Oh, their movies are great." It's
Like
because
how like Marvel has built up a brand overall where it's like they can do whatever they want and people are like, "Oh yeah, we're in." Like how I
yeah,
started
Captain
watching
Marvel. This is gonna be great.
or started watching MODOK.
MODOK. I don't know why it's MODOK,
Yeah, it was still Marvel.
but it's also still MODOK.
Fair enough.
Do you know anything about MODOK?
Nada. Which is why I was like, all right, let me try this.
You got to go into MODOK knowing about MODOK. Also, they made a new. He has a child on the show, right?
He's got 2.
He's got 2. Yeah, that's not in the comics. They made him like a house. Like it's not based on the comics.
Yeah, no, it's literally just it's a sitcom that happens to be
MODOK.
MODOK.
Yeah. That's why I didn't even give it a chance. I wanted to because like I like Patton Oswalt, but like I was like, it has nothing to do with MODOK. It's just
It was terrible.
Yeah, they just dressed up the but anyway, but the idea is that you put your money into building your brand value. You know, like you don't want people to look at BBR Productions as like, oh, they make great films because their film was good.
You want people to look at BBR Productions because people believe in what BBR stands for. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
Like if the more people know what we do on, let's say, like raising money for things or helping people or freely educating people, not you pay us, we'll educate you, but like creating outlets, right? And they're like, this film was made in a way that was through a not-for-profit that helped people first out of college find a chance to start networking and building opportunities while also learning how to practically use what they learned in a real example. You know what? We're going to support their film because of what they're doing. Because if we support this film, they can continue to do that because they're doing a thing that we agree with.
That's helping the community.
It's helping the community. Then they see the movie, and let's say the movie, we put a lot of effort into it, but it's not quality. Why? Well, because it's a bunch of people working together that don't know what they're doing, and then a bunch of people that do know what they're doing, but we're letting other people try to do certain other things, right? So it's experimental. But they watch the film and the story is good, or there's something they connect with, and they go, you know what?
I support these guys.
The movie wasn't bad, but I love what they're doing, so I am going to do it again. But eventually, what do you have to do though? You got to make sure your product has at least some quality to it. What does that mean? It means don't just release 4 or 5 projects just because it's
a project.
It's BBR projects. It means, all right, let's not just make projects and release them. You understand?
Yes.
There's like a give and take. Like in the beginning, it's just like, let's work on stuff. Let's get people working. Let's blah, blah, blah.
Let's get people involved.
Yeah. But there has to come a point where we go, whoa, slow down. Let's work on the script a little bit more. Or, hey, we need more shots to make this work. Just let's try to find a better, but let's add a little bit more to the budget to help them. Like there's a point where you have to start dealing with the quality, but it's because you have an audience that demands content, and that creates the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There is a conversation in there growing your brand, but at a certain point, your audience is going, I need something from you. But if it starts off with, I need something from you,
then there's no conversation.
Like, for example, if we did
like being in a relationship and like someone's just like, I just need something from you. You're not actually having a conversation and growing, you're actually connecting to them. You're just like, gimme.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about relationships, I mean, the psychology of it is usually females focus their energy on a man who can provide, or they focus their energy on a partner who can provide. Like this, right? So, you know that.
Yes.
But we're conditioned to think that and believe that because of the state of our country. It's like, it's very hard for a guy to go out on a date and not take out his wallet at the end of the night and pay and be like, oh, well, I thought, well, I know I asked you, but, oh, you're not going to pay? No, I'm going to pay. Then we're not going on a second date. But anyway, that's beside. But
you'll come again.
Think you'll come again. But ultimately, you have to remember that when you're doing your marketing and you're doing your advertisement, that if you can't afford your advertisement, take that money you would have spent on advertisement and put it into marketing. And what does that mean? It just means like, how can I represent my brand more? That's it. That's what it means. It means, how can I put money into representing my brand more? And like, sometimes we do lesson videos and stuff like that. That's just content, right? But the more and more we get to a style of how we represent, that becomes the brand. Like, that's the brand. And if people like the brand, the comfortableness of it, or like the high energy or the playfulness, whatever the case may be, that's what they start buying into, not necessarily the content. The content becomes something they trust in because they have an emotional connection to
the brand.
Yeah, it's like when JD says this band he's listening to is awesome because JD likes the band. And in that situation, because you have the emotional connection, you can't be wrong because I like this. If I like this and it's actually not good, then that means I have bad taste, and that's impossible.
Impossible.
Right? But that's the fight. That's why Jets fans hate Giant fans and vice versa.
It's inconceivable.
Because of that, it's impossible for me
to be
wrong, which is one of the things we were talking about conversation.
It was.
Isn't that crazy?
It's all linked.
Do you believe any of that, or do you?
No, I 100% believe that.
Do you believe you don't do that?
I definitely do that.
Do you think you do that more often than you think you do it?
Yes, because it's a knee-jerk reaction that has been built into me that I've trained myself to do.
Well, you actually didn't train yourself to do it.
Then who trained me?
Marketing.
Marketing trained me to...
The environment and the people in your life trained you to behave that way.
I got you.
You didn't allow yourself to accept what was happening, meaning like you weren't.
I did not analyze.
Yeah, you just allowed it to happen, right? So that's the fault. Me, like I say often, is like I realized I was doing certain things that like didn't make, because as I was studying,
you're like, why am I doing this?
I was like, oh, I do that, and I was like, wait a minute, maybe I don't have to do that, and then I'd be like, and it took a while. Like, it's not easy.
Habits are definitely hard to break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you take, I think it's 66 days altogether, and like you could break a habit, but it has to be consistent. Can't just be like, I did it yesterday. Or I worked on her all at least once to twice a week. Yeah, 7 months ago. Yeah. For 1 week. Yeah, but I did it. So that means I do it. If someone said that to you and the evidence, how would you look at that person?
I'd be like, oh, they cannot judge anything.
I'm just saying, like, how crazy would that be for you?
It'll be very crazy.
If they were just like, no, I do it once, twice a week, every week. Oh, you do? And then it turns out to not even be once or twice a week, every week.
And it's like, oh, they are dumb.
Well, it's not that they're dumb. It's interesting that, like, what is it that they believe they did? Or are they just not interested in being like, well, I don't want to get into that conversation. You know, like what is it? Like, why is it that there's an absolute? Why do you think that person, we are completely making up, has this absolute? We'll call this person JD McFigment of my imagination, right?
Well, this made up person I can't speak for. But if I were to take a guess, it'd probably just be that they have a terrible judgment of time.
Judgment of time. Do you think it's okay for someone to feel frustrated at that?
Yeah.
Now, if I was in that situation, which I am not, but if I was, the frustration is because that proves another example of unreliable. Because that person believes they are doing things they are not doing, and therefore not keeping to their word.
And therefore you cannot trust the value of what they're saying. Yeah,
or that you believe they are doing what they said they would do. Because if someone says, I will work on it at least once a week, and
it proves that they do not, then you cannot trust them.
Yeah, and then if they say anything else other than I just didn't do it, it's an excuse, right? If they're like, well, other things came up. Yeah, but you said you would do it. And that person didn't say, hey, by the way, this week I'm not going to be able to do it. Can you jump on it and work on it? Because we have to do it every week.
There was no communication.
Oh, shit. And what are your thoughts on that? Hypothetically speaking.
I think how you presented it is the best way to have gone about it.
But
If
how do you
someone- if
feel if
someone-
someone didn't do that?
Well, if someone did not do that, I would be very upset.
But see, again, I'm not upset. Like in that situation, I'm not upset that they didn't. I'm upset. I would be upset at the behavior
Yeah.
because the behavior is continuing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you 100%.
Yeah,
It's-
but again, I'm not upset because they didn't do it or they didn't ask, like they didn't bring
yeah,
up.
no, it's you have every right to be upset with the behavior because you're
Yeah.
expecting to rely on somebody and then they're not reliable.
Would you feel you could rely on that hypothetical person?
I feel I would not be able to rely on a hypothetical person.
So what would you do in that situation?
Probably punch him in the shins.
Not
Mainly because I'm
Aren't
so
you
sure.
like, I don't believe in violence. Literally, I would kill them. I would destroy them. I was like, but it's an actual culture of murder. Yeah, but I would kill a murderer. But you don't believe in violence. Don't care.
Don't care, get up.
So you believe in violence just when it's appropriate.
And funny.
There is nothing funny about murdering a murderer.
Oh, we're laughing right now.
Well, we're laughing because of the irony.
And win.
Anyway, so how would you deal with that person?
I just wouldn't give them responsibilities.
Oh my God. So how can you work with that person in a team effort?
You wouldn't really be able to.
So what would you do?
I would start taking back responsibilities, and they would
Ugh.
have to earn back their right to have different desks.
All right. Fair. So what are you doing this week?
Going on vacation.
Are you really?
No.
Oh, it's not that. Oh, I thought it was. I was like, is that already that month? All right. So what are we gonna have you work on?
Meh.
What are your responsibilities for this week?
Finger painting. Paper mache.
$30 says there will be no finger painting next Sunday. Go ahead.
No, that's it. Finger painting and paper mache.
Is that really what your responsibility is going to be?
No, not this week.
What is your responsibility?
A whole bunch of stuff.
Like what?
Working on Team Rise together, social media.
What does
We'll
that
see how
even mean,
goes.
Look, watch. Ask me what my responsibility
What are your responsibilities, Tom?
Well, for one client, I have to work out editing the script based on the notes that they gave me. Therefore, I have to put time into integrating the adjustments into the second draft. Another client has asked me to work on their website. Specifically, I will have to update images that have old dates on them. So therefore, I have to do some photoshopping and dream weaving. All right. Additionally, you know what I'm saying?
You sound like you should be on the radio.
Not that I would say, I got some client work, because those aren't responsibilities. Client work is not responsibilities.
The specific task is the responsibility.
That's
That's what you're
a
saying?
yeah. Like I'm working on Team Rise together. What does that even mean? Does that mean I looked at it, I saw the name, check mark. I worked on it.
Task done.
I heard the name said.
Out loud in my head.
I thought about doing it, and I was like, oh, check mark.
Ding.
That's it.
There's a bunch of other stuff.
Like what?
Gotta look at my list.
Oh my God. What do you mean? Shouldn't you know what it should be the same thing every week almost.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I'm just writing out plans and understanding all the
Plans?
intricacies of what I have to do.
Give me some ideas of your plans.
One, write them out and understand what it is that I have to
Well,
say.
that's not a plan. So you're writing a plan on how to write plans?
I should write a plan on how to write plans.
Do you hear like what you just said?
Yes, I do.
Do you hear
It sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, especially
and
because you didn't
incoherent.
even answer the question. Give me an example of like one of your plans. Well, my plan
I
is
don't
to
have them memorized.
write out the plan. Well, that's not an example of the plan.
Well, I don't have any of them memorized.
You don't have to. Wait, what are you talking about?
Were you just asking me to give you an example of like what was written in one of the plans?
What would you write in a plan?
Well, I would write out the achievements that I would like to
What's an
achieve.
achievement?
A goal that I want to accomplish?
No, a goal is what gets you to the achievement because smart goals.
Mm.
The
Then-
achievement is the accomplishment, the thing that the goals lead to.
Gotcha.
We may have called it in the past a dream goal,
Ah, yes.
but it is not actually a dream goal. It is an achievement because you have succeeded.
Gotcha. So I have to list out all of the achievements that I want for
What's an achievement?
well, specifically since on Team Rise Together, one thing would be to achievement would be to register for a not-for-profit.
Now,
in the state of
obviously,
New York.
that's not on the plan because you said you don't have anything memorized.
I said I don't have the plans memorized.
You don't have the plans memorized, which means this information you're giving is made up. I'm just saying. You said you don't have it memorized, but you're giving specific information.
I did.
Yeah.
I am giving you specific information that may or may not be on the
That
list.
may or may not be on the plan. You could be making this up. I don't
could
know.
be making it up.
Because the information, you have no memory of the plans.
I have no memory of the complete plans. That is correct.
All right. So how would one get the not-for-profit then? What would the how be? Because you have achievements and then you have the how. How would you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one,
Mhm.
I would have to go through all of
Yeah.
the requirements listed by New York State
Okay.
in order to file for that. I have to look at. We have to get written permission from from a specific department within New York State, which I have to find out which one fits us.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Then we gotta write up our.
Mm-hmm. See, you're making the dog cry.
I am making the dog cry.
So that's what your plan. So when you get to the Team Rise Together block, those are the things you'll be doing.
Some of the things that I'll be doing, yes.
Well, what are some of the things you'll be doing?
Well, I just went over some of the things.
You're going to fill out the paperwork, and you're going to get the letter.
I am going to write out the plan that includes how to do all this stuff. And then I'm also going to go beyond that and figure out what exactly we want to be doing beyond just registering the not-for-profit.
Like what? Well, no, we're talking about the not-for-profit, though. We're talking about how to do the not-for-profit. Like, because you said get the not-for-profit. So how do you do that?
Well, I have to look at it. I don't have that information.
I know you don't have a memory. I'm just saying. Like, what do you think off the top of your head?
We have to file for an S corp.
What? Okay. What else?
We have to get written permission from a specific department within the state of New York, but I do not know which.
How do we do that?
That is a good question. I have to do the research and find out.
So research is on there.
Yes.
The how-to. All right. So a lot of time. How are we going to allot some time to that?
Well, I'm going to figure out how many days a week I need to apply to this.
What do you? How many days?
Probably like 5.
5 days? You're going to work on it every day?
I should.
Okay.
If I can't, then I have to adjust the plan.
Well, I would say you can't. I would start with adjusting the plan.
Then I can adjust the plan.
How many things do you work on average in a day?
5 to 7.
5 to 7? Was that hour box?
Yes.
All right. Would you say 5 is the average?
Probably, yeah.
5 things. So how many? So if you have 9 blocks, you have to choose very wisely which one of them is 5 days a week.
Yes.
And Team Rise Together is one of those blocks. You're like, this one is an everyday block.
Well, Team Rise Together is something that we definitely want to be establishing, especially when we're back in the state of New York.
All right. All right. Okay. What other blocks do you have?
Definitely lunch.
But that's not a you don't have a plan for that.
My plan is to eat.
Yeah, but that's not one of the things you accomplish. You don't put that. Is that one of the 5 things you?
No, no, it is not.
Jesus, this guy.
I have to look at your
By the way,
face.
this is what I deal with all day. You see how he's avoiding the question?
Yes.
He's just answering whatever. So, JD, tell me about your plan. Well, the thing is, I really love dogs.
Well, I answered the first question about Team Rise Together, and we went through that. And then I made a joke because I wanted to make the lunch.
No, they allotted time stuff, and we're trying to figure that out. We're figuring that out.
Mm.
It's good that you were teaching people stuff.
We are teaching people.
What are we
stuff.
teaching them?
We're teaching them that
How not to write out a plan.
well, we're teaching them that you need to have 2 people that are emotionally invested in a conversation in order for it to grow and progress and actually be a conversation.
Because I'm the only one who seems emotionally invested in this. Are you emotionally invested in this particular conversation?
At the moment, I am slowly checking out.
But why? Because it's about you.
I don't like talking about me.
But we're not talking about you.
We're talking about the plans.
We're talking about the plans. But you're associating yourself with the value of the plan. But so what you're saying, conversation with you has to be about something that you're not involved in.
That is not what I'm saying.
I'm asking.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that Sometimes I do not have answers to questions, and then with the further someone presses me on on topics that I do not have answers for, it becomes really awkward.
Well, that's weird because I would think you have the answers because you're working on these plans a lot, right?
Yes.
Am I involved in it the entire time?
The past week, yes.
All right. So what you're saying is the only time you wrote in these plans is when I was next to you. You have not written in them since.
No, because
So
when
have
I
I
started,
been involved with the process the entire time?
then no, technically you have not, because even though I brought it up with you,
W-
I have worked on it without you
With it, that's right. So I haven't been involved
with the
in
entire time.
the
So you
entire
are
time.
correct.
So that means that you at least would have to know what it is you're working on. So if you don't have the answers for what we're talking about, what does that tell you?
That I have not absorbed the information that is written, and I do not fully understand what it is that I'm doing.
And there's a chance you are doing it wrong.
Most likely.
I mean, I've seen I looked over your shoulders a couple times, but you should be able to answer these questions and not feel like you can't be, and you should be passionate about talking about this. Why?
Because I'm emotionally invested in it.
Yeah, the more emotionally invested you are in the plans, the better the plans will be, instead of just plans of you just writing out lists.
Which makes sense.
Right?
Yes.
This is also an example of not wanting to be in the conversation.
Because I'm answering directly and not giving any room for going back and forth and having a conversation.
Are you not interested in this conversation?
Not very much.
Now, why?
Because it is a conversation that we tend to have a lot, and it usually ends up turning into a heated conversation. So I have taught myself to avoid the topic of having this conversation.
What is the conversation you are talking about?
Anything.
The reason it gets heated, just so you understand, is because of what you are literally doing right
because of the behavior, which is something
Yeah.
that you get triggered by, because I am not.
now. Yeah. A, you're not giving me any information. B, you're shutting off because you're not interested. Not interested means you don't care. And if you don't care, then how can you be doing what you're doing correctly? And if I'm not involved and you're not able to explain what you're working on,
But I think the
That's a
issue
definitive
is the
answer
fact
to
that
my-
you're thinking that that I don't care about the things that I'm doing, when the truth is I am not interested in the conversation.
but the reason you're not interested
Specifically
because you
in-
can't answer the questions.
Specifically in the context of, the dog barking.
What do you think I'm saying you don't care about?
I believe that you are
Yeah.
saying that I don't care about any of it. The conversation, the task of doing the
Yeah.
plans properly, the task of whatever it is that the plan is supposed to be planning out, and being involved with BBR altogether. That is what I am assuming that you were
Alright.
saying.
Now, the reason that statement is accurate and that I do believe you don't care is because the things we are passionate about, we make an effort for and we want to be a part of. And we don't find ways not to talk about it. We don't find ways not to understand it. We don't find ways to get the most out of it, right? Because when you're passionate about something, what do you
just
do?
something.
No, you go out of your way to make sure you're doing it fully. It's not something you have to get done. If you're passionate about it, you don't want to get it done.
You just want to keep doing it.
You just want to do it. But not only do you not want to do this conversation to explain what it is you've been working on that you are quote unquote enjoying or passionate about, but you don't want to. That in itself is dictating the truth in the behavior, because there are things you are passionate about that you probably could go on for hours talking about, and things you are passionate about that you would make time to do right. Right?
Correct.
And these are things you are not doing those things with. Ergo, how can you be passionate about it? You can say you are passionate about it, right?
But behavior dictates, truth.
Like, let's say I was sitting in the corner and I'm like just drenched over, and I'm just like, my body's just like deflated, and everyone's dancing around having fun, and I'm just like, right? And someone comes over, you go, "What, you're not having fun?" I go, "No, actually, I'm having a lot of fun." Would you believe me?
No.
Why not, JD? I told you I'm having fun.
Body language.
No, but your defense usually stands on what? Your argument position of being whatever. See, he's doing the thing of wherever you are is what you say is your truth. All right, that's your argument stance. Right? No, I said it. I said it. Right?
Yes.
You don't agree?
No, I'm agreeing.
You are agreeing.
I'm agreeing that if I say something, I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, like you believe that that's the truth.
Yes.
And by the way, that is true. What you say, you do believe it to be true. But that doesn't mean it is true. And what is that called?
Cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance, right? And everyone deals with it.
So you're saying I'm saying that I'm passionate about something that I'm not passionate about. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying you believe you are passionate about it, but you are not exhibiting the behavior of passion. A, you don't understand what you're talking about. B, you don't like talking about it because you don't understand what you're talking about. C, you don't involve me in the entire process. You just work on it to get it done. Are you working on it to get it done?
I'm working on it to get it done, to do it right.
All right. Well, do you know how to do it right?
No, which is
So
why
then
I've been
how
going
are you
over
working
with
on
you,
it?
and then going off of what we have gone over, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to come back to you and go over things with you as
Where did you move on to?
starting to do the who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Which I told you don't do that.
I thought you said to do that because everything needs to have that.
It says you cannot have that as your. If you go to your blocks and it says that, you're breaking it down. You're misguiding the purpose. Those elements need to be in there, but you don't have to answer those elements.
Gotcha.
Because if you answer those elements, you're limiting the achievement, right? Because you're doing it for the achievements.
Yes.
Right. What I told you to do is move on to the hows. Did you work solely on the hows?
I did not work solely on the house.
But I knew you were doing this, where you were writing out the who. And even when you showed me you were doing it, what did I say?
You said don't do that.
Don't do that.
That is.
Did
that
you
is a
keep doing it?
I did keep doing that.
So where
because
does don't do that mean? What does that mean to you? What do those words mean to you?
it means don't do that.
All right. So if I say don't do that, and you keep doing that,
That
at what
is-
point did you have a conversation with me about wanting to continue to do that?
I believe that conversation was part of the initial conversation, which is you said don't do that. I misunderstood what you said because I thought you thought that I was going to keep that as the achievements, and then I explained myself that I was going to take those as a guide and write it out in actual sentences
But then you went and just did that for all the things.
to make sure.
But
Yes.
But it was wrong, and I told you it would be wrong.
I misunderstood what you were saying, though. And it's on me.
I understand. I already know that part.
And I'm letting you know that I'm acknowledging this.
I already know that part. But I'm saying now what did you do? You wasted time. Because those answers aren't accurate. Because if you focus on who, you're going to try to answer who. And what are you using the identical answer or close to the identical answer for all the who's?
It depends on what the
answer should be. They are completely different for each one. It shouldn't be. It depends. Why?
Because they're all different achievements.
They're all different achievements. And if you just write, can I make an assumption? Individuals who are starting out or have been doing it for 10 to 15 years and haven't succeeded, is that the basis of the who?
For one of them.
Just one of them. So you're not using that. There's no connection to that statement for any other one.
There are.
So what does it for one of them mean?
It is in one of the one or two of the plants. It's not for all of the plants.
But you are using that as a basis.
It goes to more than one thing. Yes.
All right. So each of those have to be wrong now. Why?
Because they're not focusing on the achievement.
But also, you're just focusing on individuals who are starting out or have been doing it for 10 to 15 years who haven't found success.
Yes.
Which isn't the who. Do you understand?
No, but we can go over this when we have this stuff actually up in front of us on the screen.
I'm just saying, if I tell you to do something, the reason I tell you to do it is because I have the experience of knowing what to do.
Which makes sense.
But I will give the table to you if you're willing to have this conversation. How experienced are you in creating plans, business plans, action plans, and smart goals?
I am not very experienced at all. Everything that I know, I am slowly learning from you, but I do not have experience doing this.
All right. So, at what point did you feel that way was actually still the best way? Or you don't think it's the best way, it's just the way you want to do it?
I thought it was the way that you had originally said to. And then when we had the conversation of you said don't do that, I thought you said don't do that because I thought that you thought that I was doing that and leaving it that way.
Did you
Which
ask
is-
me to clarify?
I did not think I needed to clarify because at the end of the conversation,
I said
you
don't
went-
do that. I said
You said don't do that.
I did. I said
So
don't
it's
do
on
that.
me.
The reason I said don't do that and to clarify was I was like, because you're going to get confused. You're going to be focusing on the question. I said that in that conversation.
You did.
So, but you heard I should keep doing this. I'm just asking.
I did not hear you should keep doing this
So, what made you keep doing it?
because I was trying to organize my thoughts. So for me,
Yeah.
I was trying to get information out and have it in front of me. And this way I could compile it.
All right. Did it work?
I have not gone back yet to go and rewrite it.
I already know it didn't work.
So I'm going to go with it probably did not work.
What? But why do you think why do you know? Why am I saying it didn't work?
Because you know for a fact and from experience that it is not going to work.
Because you're using the elements of one statement and making that the who for all achievements.
And that does not work.
It's instantly wrong.
It can't.
It cannot be. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Make a get the not-for-profit certificate. Should the who be people who are starting out?
No.
All right. What do you have for the who for that, you think?
I do not recall.
What do you think it might be?
Uh,
Who do you think it is? Who's the who?
to get the not-for-profit certificate?
Yeah,
For the company.
the company. So what would you write for who?
Team Rise Together.
That is
Would it be us?
I'm asking you.
We need to get the not-for-profit for Team Rise Together.
So that's who the audience is.
That would be the who in that situation.
All right.
Because we
Where's the where?
wherever we need to send the information stuff to.
Why?
No idea.
No, the why.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you not know? You should be able to answer these questions.
I
JD.
should.
But you're not willing. Either you're not willing to answer them now, which is scary, very scary to me, or you're unable to answer them, which is even more scary. Why?
Because it means that I do not understand.
And you filled these things out. Unless did you leave them blank?
There are some that I have left blank, yes.
Is that one left blank?
Yeah, I believe so.
The who, what, where, why, and how? Oh, so you haven't even gotten to that yet.
There are elements from a bunch of the achievements that
Yeah.
I've filled in that are not fully. There are some parts that are not filled out.
They're not filled out. So some of them you filled out.
Yes.
What is a who?
Is the person or place or thing that is
It's the market. What is the where?
where it is happening.
It's fine. What is the why?
That is the motivation behind that.
And what is the motivation?
The reason why you want to do the achievement or achieve the achievement.
All right. So why do we want to achieve the not-for-profit?
So we can educate people in a real.
So why do we need the not-for-profit? Can we? We're doing that now.
But we're not doing it in a real life. Real.
We can. What's stopping us? Do you think we need a not-for-profit status to do that?
I don't think that we need to, but I know that it is our mission to do this.
To do what?
To have the not-for-profit to do this.
But why do we need to get the certificate?
The not-for-profit certificate,
Yeah.
or the IRS tax exemption.
Whichever one you want to answer.
I'm asking for clarification on
Either
which
what?
one.
Give him both. Give me both.
I don't know.
Wait. Well, motivation is the purpose of that task at hand.
Yes, that's the reason why you want to do that, which I believe I answered.
I believe you did not.
Oh, well, then it is my mistake. I imagine that I did.
Are you saying our motivation to get the certificate is to do what?
Is to have the not-for-profit.
To have the not-for-profit. So that's our
Yes.
motivation to get the not-for-profit.
No, you said
What's the why? What's the we have not
you asked
changed
the
the
question.
subject. Yeah.
What's our motivation to
Which
get
is
the
the why.
certificate?
Which is the why.
And I said our motivation to get the certificate is so we can have the not-for-profit.
All right.
Were you asking me what is our motivation to get the not-for-profit?
Well, either one. Motivation isn't to just get it. It's like saying, what's your motivation for getting that car? Oh, because I needed a car. Or no, because I wanted to get that car. Why that car? Because I wanted it.
Because I needed a car to go from A to B, and that was the one that was in my price range.
All right. What's the difference between those answers?
There is an actual reason behind.
But you said our reason was to get the certificate. Or get the not-for-profit. Or the open the not-for-profit. Any one of those answers are wrong. Why?
Because it's just saying because you wanted to.
Yeah, there's no motivation. Do you understand?
Yes.
What is the motivation to have a not-for-profit? Because we don't need it to do what it is you said. We do not need it to teach people. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't
we
even
teach people without the not-for-profit. now.
Yeah. And you don't need it to teach people in a practical environment. We could literally just film something and have people learn, right?
Correct.
So what is the purpose of getting a not-for-profit? The hell with the certificate. What's the purpose of getting a not-for-profit?
With the not-for-profit, we are able to get more involved with. I don't know. I don't have an answer.
All right.
I don't understand.
Okay. So you shouldn't have any of that. Shouldn't be answered on the plan then, right?
Correct.
That's all going to be blank.
Probably.
All right. I don't want you to go and erase anything before I look at it.
Please take a look at it.
I'm just saying, you're not going to delete anything.
I will not delete anything.
You can give me a word on it. I don't want to touch your finger. You don't wash your hands after you.
That is not true.
Not every time.
That is not true.
What? Every single time
Yes.
you use the bathroom, you wash your hands.
Yes. With soap.
With soap.
Yes, because I know.
Since you moved in Brooklyn till
Yes.
now, every single time.
Yes.
Even at night when you get up to go in.
Yes.
And I opened the door and caught you and said, the water wasn't running and there's no suds in that sink. And you turned around and literally washed your hands.
That time I did because
But
I know that it bothers you.
I understand, but in that situation, I physically heard, I listened. I had my ear on the door. I'm like, what's this kid doing in there? Right? And then you just, I heard you like brushing your hair or something. And then I heard you put the brush away and then you opened the door. And I was like, you going to wash your hands? You're like, and you turned around and I looked at the sink, no suds. It wasn't even wet. Like there was no splash water. And you're just like, I was like, this motherfucker. So every time?
Yes.
Even that time?
Yes, because I went back and did it.
You went back and did it.
Still counts as that time.
Doesn't count. It
Counts as
doesn't
that time.
count. Do you wipe your ass after every poop?
Yes.
Do you wipe your ass good?
Yes.
After now, how do you know it's good?
Because there's nothing on the toilet paper afterwards.
Do you wipe your schmegma off your taint? When you poo, when you're done wiping your ass, do you wipe your taint? You know where the poo is going to?
Yes.
You hold your nuts and wipe your taint.
I don't hold my nuts, but yes.
You just wipe your taint.
Yes.
This is the face, by the way, folks. Just pay attention. Wait, let me get a good face. Let's answer this one again. Do you wipe your taint?
Yes.
See that? That's how you know he's thinking about it. And tonight he's gonna go. Am I? Did I get the taint? That's the taint, right? Is that? 1 second.
JD, why is it taking you so long in the bathroom
Oh,
tonight?
that's the taint. Where's the taint?
Underneath.
Underneath what?
I'm done. We're done.
It's underneath my feet.
We're done.
No, seriously, where's the taint?
We're done.
Do you know what a taint is?
Nope.
Are you serious?
Nope.
So you don't clean your taint?
Nope.
I'm not going to end until you at least acknowledge what a taint is.
No idea.
How do you not know what a taint is?
Because I don't.
All right. Well, I guess so. Anyway, have you heard of this band, Angels on the Battlefield?
Yeah, it's a hard rock band. They're pretty terrible.
No, they're pretty good. They taint too much to deal with.
Yeah, it's tainted.
It's
tainted music.
It's tainted. Taint out of shame. Tank 2. Let's play. What do you want for dinner? I don't know. Taint nothing to eat.
God.
Oh my god. 1 second. Taint.
Oh, God.
Taint. Oh wow. A trace of a bad or undesirable quality or substance. She manages to make paintings about love and beauty that are free of the taint of sentiment.
That sounds like a terrible.
That means that the way you're answering me right now at the end of the comment, you have tainted the conversation.
I have tainted the conversation.
There has to be another word for taint, because taint is between your nuts and your anus. Taint.
What is it as a noun?
Maybe. What is the area between JD's nuts and anus? Area between the anus extended from either the vaginal opening to scrotum or to the scrotum. It's muscles, organs. It doesn't give a name. It just says perineum. What's that say, Jenny?
Let me see.
This word right here. Is it?
Perineum.
Wait, say it into the mic so they hear.
Perineum.
See, I told you he knew what it was.
Wah, wah.
Oh, that was easy. See?
That was.
See, was that easy? Why couldn't you say that?
Said another word, perineum.
Yeah, you said it.
I did, because I read it. It was in the script.
All you gotta do is say it. That's it. Anyway, all right. So next week we're gonna have pitches of our perineum. JD's been having perineum pain.
Why does JD's have dreadlocks?
Oh my god. You don't have a lot of hair down there, though, right? Don't you keep it like man shaved?
I do. That's why it's funny.
You keep it like, what is it called? Man shaved?
Manscaped.
No, manscaped. Does that mean you have like a little lawnmower? You know, you wear like a woman beater, you know, shorts, carry a beer, and then just push the.
My hand has the wife beater with the lawnmower.
If they came up with a ball trimmer that was like it was basically a lawnmower, but like it was like a little one.
Oh, I totally have to get it.
Would you use it though?
Yes, that is hilarious.
Could we film that?
Yes.
Yeah, what else do you think I would put on OnlyFans? I would show my taint, my premium, my penis, as long as it was showing how to do manscaping. Why do they call it manscaping? I guess because landscaping, manscaping.
It's a pun.
It's a pun. Anyway, all right. That's it. Done?
Yeah, guess so. Let's give you the last word.
I was going to give you the last word.
I don't want the last word.
You sure? Why not? Why don't you want the last word?
Because it's yours.